Fridays being done at 10 o'clock. Sometimes you have some stuff to do after the show, whether it's some other work. But, a lot of times, and people historically are, which I appreciate, because, look, I have to admit, I believe I'm blessed to have a wonderful job. Every job has their thing. There's certain things that may be drawbacks. But, look, we are get to talk about sports, and it's something I would watch anyway, but now you kind of watch from a different lens. But there are certain things you have to prepare for, and so on and so forth. Anyway, the point being is a lot of people go, wow, how much time do you spend on the show? And I say it's kind of a constant prep. But on the morning show, the thing that's different than when I've done every day part on the station. If the show ends at 10, the stuff you have left to do is really more about, if you have to cut commercials or meetings or internal stuff. But you're not really necessarily planning for the next day's show right then and there because, well, the sporting events that you're likely going to talk about have yet to happen, or a trade or a firing or whatever, unless it broke at the very end of our show, 6 to 10. Then it's like, all right, we didn't get a lot of time on this topic, so definitely we're talking about it the next day. But midday is kind of a sweet spot. And when I say midday, it's changed because before you got here, I would say under the definition of midday, I used to do 12 to 3. That was that might be my favorite, like, lifestyle time of day. But now we're structured 6 to 10, 10 to 2. I mean, it makes sense how we have it structured. Afternoon's pretty great, but that 12 to 3 was pretty ideal.
Hello, May the 9th be with you, Jason.
Is that a thing?
I'm making it a thing today.
How are you?
I'm great. I agree that I am so lucky to be so young in this industry and to have the best part of the day in terms of lifestyle of schedule, right? Like, I'm not leaving as a producer. You work after the show. Sure. I'm not leaving here at 7:00 p.m. on the afternoon show. I'm not showing up at 4:30 in the morning like Christopher Laud has to do. I have the perfect day part of the show. 12 to 3 does sound nice.
That was pretty nice. Now, you've also been here long enough, though you're still relatively new in this, but you've been here a while. You've paid your dues. You've had to work nights for Kings games and other events as working here late. You've had to work mornings, like the early mornings, even on the weekend, and filled in the morning too.
I've had to do those back to back.
Yes, which is like the true, like, hey, welcome to, now Sacktown Sports, right? What are your thoughts on just those other, like if you had a permanent night shift or permanent morning shift, or if you like this time of day for lifestyle? So
if my body clock was, had its way, I would sleep at 9:30 every night. I would wake up at 6:30 or 6 a.m. every day, and that would be perfect for me. So if I had to
9 o'clock would be good.
Yeah, I'd say
maybe a little time.
I know there used to be 4 shows. So if I had like a 9 to 12 or a 9 to 1, I think that would be perfect for me. In school, I would always pick my classes at either 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. would always be my preferred choice.
Like in college when you could pick.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, sometimes you don't get to choose because you need this one specific class. But
it's funny that you say that because, I mean, did you have roommates? I'm assuming you did.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you had a variety of roommates, I'm sure you had a variety of schedules there because I basically felt like I was in a frat house a couple years where I had 6 other roommates, and most of them had the night schedule, or they'd rather be up late. I mean, it's college, experience all the stuff. And it's like, I'm not going to school before noon. I was the opposite. I wanted to be done. And also there was great at Davis, noon pickup. Like, it was just great pickup basketball.
Oh,
and so it's like I kind of went like, hey, if I could play or have school at some version 8 to noon or 9 to noon, and then done, play basketball, and then whatever else, still experience just life.
Sure, you do a little radio, do a little fun,
know. Figure it all out.
Yeah. I was probably in that direction. I had a strange college experience because my college was kind of split in half by the lockdown and the pandemic. So like when I was living with people in the same room, it was like I was getting up at 6 a.m., 5:30 every morning, just because that's what my body naturally liked. In high school, you went to school at 7 in the morning. Right. So it was like, you're used to waking up that early. And
was everything online then?
It was for about a year and a half.
How did you, I guess if you're all exposed to the same people in your house, either that your whole place got it or nobody got it, right?
Yeah. But during the lockdown, it was weird because I had to move into a new place during the lockdown because we had to move out of the dorm at that point. But it was interesting because the people I was living with there weren't necessarily college students, but I didn't interact with them all that much before that. So it was like everyone's either got it or everyone kind of has their own room type situation. But yeah, it was different when I was living in the dorm because I was waking up at 5:30, and then once we moved to lockdown, it was like you go to school when you go to school.
That time period was weird for everybody, but I hadn't really thought about that as a college student. Man, that had to just be extremely bizarre.
It was bizarre because, like, some people, it was like the end of high school or the end of college or begin. Mine was split right down the middle, so it was like
you had experienced it what the college was like before. Then it was a completely different experience.
Yeah, but then I came back, and had another one final year. Yeah. So all of that was just strange.
I'm glad we're through that. That was just, I mean, again, we all lived it, but trying to explain that to someone years from now, I just, hopefully we have nothing like that again. But that was just, and the weirdest time, I was working here, obviously, and when we were doing we still had to do shows, like literally when there were no sports. Like we complained about, it's a slower time, or this time of year, there's not as much topic. I mean, there was nothing, and it was just speculating on what it will look like when it comes. I mean, it was weird.
You were coming in 12 to 3 or 9 to 12 or whatever it was at that time.
That time I was with Dave in the morning. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or part of it, that also split because.
Because I was like, at one point you were with Doug.
Then I was with Doug after a while. But yeah, Dave and I were literally, and Jay Mars, we were doing a sports movie a day. And so we were getting people to vote on it. And then we were breaking it down like it was a game. I mean, that was like a segment to two just because, that's what else do we got? So our assignment, we try to get our listeners to watch, Ernest Saves, Air Bud to Tin Cup to whatever, Hoosiers, and then a breakdown. And it was fun, but it was like, gosh, we are stretching.
It's crazy now to think about that in hindsight, is all the work that you guys were putting in.
It was good practice, for show prep.
Yeah, the creative juices had to really get flowing to come up with something to talk about other than like contract negotiations that were still happening.
Yeah. And they're trying to get a bubble. What is this even going to look like? How are they going to play? How's it going to function? Are media going to be allowed? Who's that whole thing. But we're in a better time now, much better time. In fact, I mean, look, I heard Dave talk about this a lot today. We've got a sports pope. I don't know if he's quite a sports pope, but he was a sports fan. He likes the White Sox, an American pope. Villanova got all this love yesterday.
I know. Everyone was all in on the Villanova Knicks, the Villanova Pope.
Crazy day yesterday. So Chicago and Villanova rejoicing for that. It was a big day. It was really interesting to see that kind of all play out yesterday. But for you today, we're going to have some fun here until 2:00 as we lead you up to the Drive Guys, which will be Whitey Gleason with the High Flyer. Henry Turner's coming in today, so we'll check in with them at the end of the show. We will visit with Sean Cunningham today. He is going to be out at, I believe, all 3 games between the A's and the Yankees. That's a big stop in town, and I know when the A's were rumored to come here, to make it official to come here, a lot of the talk was, man, it's going to be an opportunity to see people like Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, the stars of baseball, the Giants coming through. Well, the Dodgers don't come through this year. Assuming the A's are going to be here for the 3 to 4 years, they will be here next year. But it's an opportunity to see stars like that, along with this young and exciting A's team. We're going to talk about that today. There was playoff basketball yesterday. We will definitely get into that. We've got Kings conversation for you. As always, we would love your participation as well at 339-1140 to call in, 1-800-920-1140, text line as well. He's Kyle. I'm Jason. We're all filling in for Allen Stiles. Just getting started. Allen's back, I believe, on Monday, right? Yeah, he's back on Monday. So we look forward to all of that. We do appreciate you checking in. And if you are on our YouTube page, feel free to chat up and hit the thumbs up while you're there. We are back with much more of the Allen Stiles Show. That is straight ahead here on Sacktown Sports.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy. As a native Sacramentan, I can tell you, not that you need to know, that it might be nice right now, but turn the corner and oh my God, it's so hot. Yeah, you know, summer is coming. And my friends at American Energy want to make sure you are dialed with your AC unit. So how about this? Half off tune-up right now. It's a special going on, just $24.50 to get your air conditioner tuned up. A free diagnostic. And oh, by the way, if you need a new AC unit, up to $3,500 in rebates on qualifying system installations. That's right. They've been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Give them a call, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Here's the song.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Jalen Clark will dribble it out. The Timberwolves an impressive Game 2 victory over the Golden State Warriors, 117-93 to even this best-of-7 series at a game apiece.
Hey, look, we've had some amazing playoff games so far. Last night, not one of them. If you're a T-Wolves fan, it's amazing. You want the win. And look, if that was the Kings and they trounced their opponent, I don't care. It doesn't need to be a buzzer beater. It doesn't need to be a 20-point comeback. The playoffs have been really, really good. Last night, to me, as you heard Alan Horton, the voice of the Timberwolves, on the call there, not a surprise. Kyle, I don't know what you thought going in. I mean, the T-Wolves were down 1. No Steph Curry. I mean, the point spread was pretty significant in favor of the T-Pups. I figured Timberwolves would win that game.
I thought the Timberwolves would win without question. I didn't think it would be 13-0.
I know, from the jump.
Yeah, the Warriors didn't score their first point until like 6:50 left in the first quarter. I think they had 7 with 2.5 minutes to go. I didn't think the Warriors would be that constipated from the field. But
they were.
They were, and they never got back into the game after that.
Yeah, and it was, if you're a T-Wolves fan, or anti-Warriors, I guess, in this case. And I've said this for many, many years. I think when you're looking at the layout of any playoffs, to me, I always like my metrics on who I think is going to win. It's not always the best team or best record, but that's a good starting point. Like, you're like, how do I decide who I think is going to win this series? Well, if a team has done a lot of heavy lifting and has accumulated incredible stats and it proved to be a really good team through the year, for example, let's go to the top 2 teams, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers in each division. So 2 of the favorites, as they should be. They're the 1 seed. Then the very next factor, which you have to look at, and teams will never use it as an excuse, but it's a factor, injuries. And so Cleveland right now, game 2, I still don't think they got enough love for this. They played without Garland, without Mobley, without Hunter. And yes, they blew it. They blew it. They did totally blew it, but they played great. Those are 3 huge pieces to what they do. So now let's go to the Warriors. Warriors and T-Wolves, to me, on paper, I think is pretty even. I mean, if you told me it's all T-Wolves, I'm not really going to argue out of that. If you told me it's all Warriors, I'm not going to argue out of that. But you take out Steph Curry, can they win? Of course. But more times than not, it's going to be more difficult for the Warriors. Now, where this almost became even was for the second time this playoffs, Ant goes down with what looked to be an ankle injury. It certainly was scary, but Kyle, when he came back in the second half, I'm like, all right, we're good, and this game should be fine. Even though the Warriors in the early third got it to, I think, 7, but then before you blink, it's 15-16. Again, it kind of stayed in that comfortable range.
Yeah, I didn't think there was ever a worry that they weren't going to pull that out because, people will make the point like, oh, the Warriors are without Steph. How are they going to possibly win? Well, Steph left pretty early in game 1, and they still managed to win the game. Now, big part of that was the Timberwolves having the worst 2-game 3-point shooting stretch in the history of the playoffs. So I guess that's part of the, did the Warriors really win it or did the Timberwolves lose it? And then Minnesota came back and played like the team I felt like was going to go to the conference finals. And they're on the trajectory to do so because Steph Curry is possibly not going to play again in the playoffs.
In your mind, like, so I think about a couple different references to the regular season. And one of the reference points when I think about the Warriors is they obviously made the trade for Jimmy Butler. When they did it, I'm like, well, yeah, sure. I think he'll help, but I wasn't as much of a believer as what the results turned out to be. I mean, Jimmy Butler's been great for them. And then when Draymond at the All-Star break said, what he has given us is just back to, and Draymond would know as a champion what it takes. He's given us the belief that we can beat anybody. And there's huge value in that. And I know people say like every game, oh, we can win. It's different when you think you're going to win. And then Draymond said it very publicly. No, we're going to win. I think we're going to win the championship. And he goes, no, I take that back. We are going to win the championship. So does this give them, and I'm not going to hold him to the fire. I love that he said it. Good for him. Whatever. I mean, believe it. You should believe it. But I think he meant it. I really do.
Sure.
And not in just like, hey, I'm bragging. It's like, no, we think we've got it. We've got the elements, and they've shown the ability here. But if Steph is out and they lose this series, even if Steph comes back for one of the games, does that give him an out? Like, does he get a free pass on that bold statement?
I would feel so, at least from the fan base. I think they probably look at it like,
if we had him.
Yeah, if we had him, we would have won. But I think they're probably also looking at it in the moment like, Steph's down. Okay, we got this. Go Pajemski, go Buddy. We're going to pull through this first. I think if they get through this and Steph is still out come Oklahoma City, I think, yeah, it's going to be like, well, I don't think we're going to be able to pull this one out. But
what if he comes back and they get through it?
If he comes back, I'm sure they're like, we just beat this great team without him.
Yeah.
I mean, what can we do against a team like Oklahoma City?
You're already advancing OKC, huh? I mean, I get it.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's like they're 1-1, but Oklahoma City has led for all but 2 seconds of the entire series.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's hard, but I mean, they have to be feeling confident even with, the only thing with Steph being down is part of it because they got one in Minnesota. That was the goal. At this point, if you're able to put the Steph injury out of mind, you're like, we're in a great position. We've got 2 games at home. We could go up 3-1. It's just, what are your chances without your superstar?
Right. And the T-Wolves have to know that at a minimum, Steph's being evaluated in a week. So they're going to have a couple, like at a minimum, they're going to get to games 3, 4, probably 5 at a minimum without Steph. So, I mean, in theory, the T-Wolves could sweep, gentleman sweep, get that 4 in a row and get them out of there. Just don't play with fire. If there's games that are close and they don't have Steph, if you're the T-Wolves, you gotta beat them. And the other element that happened yesterday was yet another technical on Draymond Green. I believe is that 5? I think it's 5. And the benchmark is 7.
I know he's 2 away from having the 1-game suspension.
Yeah, so he's at 5. Steve Kerr addressed that. He took him out. Also, the game was getting a little bit out of hand. But here's Steve Kerr about that.
Yeah, I could see, he had gotten pretty upset, and I just didn't want him to get another technical. So I took him out at that point, and I know he's going to have to be careful now. He's I see 2 techs away,
5 techs and 2 flagrants, and
So
7 and 4.
So
Two
2 more
techs.
techs, he'll be suspended,
Or 2 more flagrants, right?
Yeah. So he's going to have to stay composed. Obviously, we need him.
They do. I mean, if you don't have Steph and you don't have Draymond, then that's even more of a killer. I thought Jimmy Butler could have been a little more aggressive. I think, obviously, when you take Steph out, they've actually played pretty well without him this year. They had some of those stats to show it during the game. But he's such an important part. I mean, look, I know everything that Houston was doing, everything that Minnesota is game planning was around Steph. I mean, the pressure that Amin Thompson, Tari Eason, the double teams, the getting the ball out of the hands of everything is schemed around him to slow him down, and then have Jimmy Butler, or in this case, Buddy Hield. Others would have to beat you, and Buddy's been playing great. Pajemski, Kuminga, who got a role last night and played a much bigger role. So now those guys are going to be called on to do a lot more. Is it possible? Absolutely, but it feels like the margin for error is less. And the thing that Steph can do that very few people in this league can do, Kyle, is make plays that are defended so extremely well and orchestrated around him, and he can still beat you and score. Those are just truly daggers to a defense, and just a a belief in what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, look at what the Knicks are doing right now with Brunson. It's like Brunson is kind of in that category now where it's like he hits shots that are just daggers. You're playing great defense and he finds a way to slip through or step back, and those are just gut wrenchers. I think that's played a part in Boston having these collapses, is just Brunson hits those same kind of Steph Curry type shots that make you feel awful. And you mentioned the margin for error, and it's interesting that they've gone deep into their bench to try and replace Steph instead of saying, this one guy, whether it's Buddy, whether it's Kuminga, you're going to be the guy who takes 20 shots, and we need you to be that person as a true and blue number 2.
Yeah.
Because
like Buddy can make shots equally as not as impressive as Steph, but Buddy can shoot like Steph. I mean, he can.
Sure.
But it's just different.
Yeah, it's like instead of putting all their eggs into one basket and saying this guy ride or die, they're kind of like, well, at one point it's Kuminga, then it's Buddy and Moses Moody, but Moses Moody's going to go 0 for 4, and then it's kind of like they're instead of going all in on one hand, they're kind of like just playing it out and just trying to get by at times, which is a fine strategy. It just historically is proven to not work as well in the playoffs.
Yeah, and so if you can have that guy, whether it's Brunson, whether it can be Ant, whether it's Steph, it's nice to have that option, but also knowing that for the Warriors, okay, more is going to be asked of Draymond and Jimmy and just all the way down the line. And, you also get to the point where let's get to I don't know if it's human nature, the logical, the emotional part. Like the Warriors did the thing in game 1. Like they won game 1. And I know they don't back off naturally, but Minnesota was desperate. Minnesota had to win. They played that way. They were just more aggressive. Like you said earlier, Kyle, 13-0. Can you come back from that? Yeah, but that's the home team that has to win, that punched you first. And you're like, what you got? And so the Warriors knew, well, we don't have Steph. It's going to be harder. We also won 1. Like this, we did our job. We have home court. Now it feels like now it's on.
Yeah, game 3 is going to be the big one. Game 3 is going to decide momentum-wise. And you mentioned, how does the locker room feel about Steph going down? Game 3 is going to be evident of, do they believe in themselves, or are they looking at it like, we just got to scrape by until Steph gets back?
And we get lucky and find a way.
Yeah, but game 3 will tell us a lot because it'll be obviously in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's going to be some fun games this weekend. There's a lot of series and matchups that are coming up that we're going to talk about here in just a moment, including now that we've made it basically to 4 games into the series. One last thought, though, on from Minnesota's perspective, at least. We mentioned the Ant injury. Here's their head coach, Chris Finch, talking about that.
Chris, do you just expect Ant to jump back up at this point?
Yeah, this one I was really worried about, actually. I thought, there's lots of ways of being an elite athlete pay off, and, being able to shake those things off certainly is one of them. But this one I was really planning on not seeing him the rest of the game, to be honest with you, so.
Well, he did come back. He did perform. I still think we're waiting for that, like, Ant moment. And speaking of him, we're going to talk about him in a couple of segments, because is he the NBA player you would want most for your team out of the entire league over the next 5 years? That'll be coming up. But next, as I said, we've seen 4 NBA series. All have played 2 games. The series are now shifting venues. We'll share our thoughts on each and every one of those. Jason Ross, Kyle Ledbetter. I'm in for Allen Stiles. We are back with more right here on Sac 10 Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Fidium Fiber.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's finally Friday. Out the door to a comfortable start with temperatures in the low 50s this morning. We'll be looking at mostly sunny skies for the afternoon, light southwest winds, warmer today with highs in the low 90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
It's about time they
fixed that pothole.
Invented better windshield wipers.
Made an internet that just works. Fidium Fiber Internet, starting at only $30 a month. It feels like Fidium. Offer available to residential customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See Fidium.com for details.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and displays.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sinks overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sinks overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sacramento, get ready. The Sacktown Sports Live events calendar is packed with epic shows you won't want to miss. Classic rock bands, America takes the stage at Hard Rock Live Sacramento on May 9th. Then hip-hop legend LL Cool J brings the beats to Thunder Valley on May 10th. The Outlaw Music Festival rolls into Toyota Amphitheater on May 18th. And punk pioneers The Dam hit Ace of Spades on May 31st. June heats up with JJ Gray and Mofro at Ace of Spades on June 10th. Plus, country superstars Lee Brice and Walker Hayes at Ironstone Amphitheater on June 21st. Then it's 3 days of country fun at the Country Summer Music Festival at Sonoma County Fairgrounds on June 27th through the 29th. Get your boots ready for the Folsom Pro Rodeo July 3rd through 5th. Then catch Cody Johnson at Golden One Center on July 18th and Parker McCollum at Ironstone Amphitheater on August 16th. Mark your calendars, grab your tickets, and don't miss out. Find all the details at sacktownsports.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
All right, Kyle, what song is this?
This is APT by Rose and Bruno Mars.
Oh, Bruno Mars part. I don't know APT.
APT is I guess apartment for short, but it's do you know who Blackpink are?
Yes.
Yes, this is one of the 4 members of Blackpink as a solo artist.
So what was funny is, can you start that from the beginning again? Is that possible? Just the song? Or before you do, actually, this was my thought bubble that happened during that, because you and I have a large age difference. In fact, what's the story? You were born on the day I got married.
Yes, and not like to the day.
To the exact day. So my anniversary is your birthday.
Yes, it's
coming up.
It is.
Yeah,
just a month or so away.
I know what you're turning.
I know what anniversary it is.
But so when the song started, I go, wow, what does Kyle know about that? So for those that are old like me, I honestly thought this was Oh Mickey. Do you know that song? Oh Mickey.
Yes.
Okay. So if you started just from the beginning, for the first two, beat, it's very much like Oh Mickey.
Let me see if I can find Oh Mickey instrumental real quick, just so we can do some.
I think it's it. Honestly, it might just be a sample from that.
It totally could
with
be
a little bit of a modernized. But I'm like, wow, how does Kyle know this song? And why is he playing it? Instead, it was APT and Bruno Mars.
Yes. Yeah. This is like one of the top 5 songs that the youths are listening to right now.
That song?
Yes, okay. APT.
The youths. That would be you. Are you considered in that group? You're in that group.
Oh yeah, I'm Gen Z in a way that you can't even pretend like you're on the border. I'm firmly
you're
Gen
in it?
Z.
You're locked in?
I'm locked in.
Final answer.
If you're born between 1996 and 1999, you can kind of be like, I'm sort of millennial, sort of Gen Z.
That's not you.
No, yeah. I cannot pretend.
You're a 2000s baby. Right?
Do you know which one that was?
That was Oh Mickey.
Yes, that was Oh Mickey. And then this is this is probably a sample.
It's got to be, right?
I hadn't even thought about it until now, but someone's got to be doing a sample with a version of it, which is a lot of how beats get created now.
Yeah, if you're stealing from someone, they stole from someone else. Look, there's hardly anything new and unique and original, but that's okay. What you turn it then into becomes hopefully even better. So there you go. We're learning from one another.
Exactly, right? This is crossing generational divides, which sometimes
that hurts.
Sometimes I learn these things also where it's like, oh, this was a song in 1989. And sometimes I know it just because I'm a music person.
Yeah.
This is one of those where I was like, I never thought about that. That is just the beat to Hey Mickey.
Yeah, I will say that is, and pet peeve's not the right word, but sometimes when people use the caveat like, well, I was born in this year, that was before my time. Well, a lot of times when the reference is it's something that's big enough that you would hope that you don't have to know everything or all the nuance, but like you never heard of that song just because of, for me, like way before my time, it's like, yeah, I know songs from the 60s and early 70s. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't born, but I know that I've heard it. I at least I can have a brief thought on it, but yeah, anyway.
Well, look at us. We both have.
We came together.
Yeah, we both have our own versions of the same beat.
Yes.
Your generation and my generation coming together.
I just don't like the sound of that, the phrasing of that. All right, welcome in. Jason Ross in for Allen Stiles. Allen will be back on Monday. We look forward to that. Kyle's always here with you, and he's with me today at 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Text line, YouTube, you can hit us up there. Coming up later on the show, the Yankees are in town. I say the Yankees, but it's also the A's, of course. But that's a big draw, a big team, big ticket item for Mother's Day weekend. We will be talking about that coming up. We got some Kings conversation as well. The NBA draft lottery is on Monday. Can the Kings get the ultimate, and I do mean ultimate luck, coming up there? We will discuss that. But the NBA playoffs are rolling right along. 4 series have all now reached the transition point where they're changing to the next venue. What have we learned so far? The East has clearly been wild in the fact that the Eastern Conference road teams have won every game. So you've got Pacers up 2-0 going home. Knicks up 2-0, surprisingly, going home. The West, they're even at 1-1 on each one. We've had an incredible amount of huge comebacks in these playoff series, including Boston getting got twice, right? The first time was surprising. The second one was stunning, absolutely stunning. And they're the ones that have to deal with it. They're the ones that have to live with it. And Jason Tatum's taking a lot of the blame for that, whether it's fair or not. But let's hear from JT on his overall performance.
I take full ownership on the way that I've played in this series. And, can't sugarcoat anything. I need to be better. And, I expect to be a lot better.
I think he will. I think they will. I think they can. I mean, when you get this far, Kyle, I mean, home court, you'd rather have it. I don't want to say it's irrelevant. That's too strong. But if you're leaning like on a chart, I would say being at home is going to win like a little bit over 50%, but not 60 to 70. These teams are all pretty even. And I'd rather be at home, but I don't think the Knicks and Pacers should be like, whew, we're good. They did great work already to have 2-0 leads, but they better make sure it's 3-1 or better when they go back to the other side.
Yeah, the one I think in this modern NBA, and I say modern as in like the last 4 years, where it's like we've had 5 different Western Conference champions and 7 seeds and 8 seeds go on deep runs, unlike in ways that they did for most of the 2010s and 2000s. I think the home court matters less than it ever has before. But at the same time, I mean, for example, the Nuggets last year, they went down 0-2 at home against the Timberwolves, and they pushed it to Game 7, and they were up 20 at halftime. But then the same thing came back around where they coughed it up at the end. And so, you can say, hey, Boston still has a great chance in the series. They were up 15 in the fourth quarters of each of these games. Most people had them winning in 5, at most 6 to begin the series, but the same thing could happen again once they go back to Boston.
Yeah, as you said that, and this has happened way more in the last 5 years, the 20 isn't the number that people should like. I think 30 is the number that if you lose that's a blown game. I mean, 20 you still at that's a really good lead, but that happens a lot in the regular season. It's happening a ton in the postseason.
Yeah, this postseason's been a crazy anomaly. I saw someone posted the win probabilities of the craziest games. It was like Boston 99.1% game 2, Boston 98% in game 1, Oklahoma City 98% against the Nuggets with 2 minutes to play. The Bucks, they got eliminated with a 7-point lead and 40 seconds left to go. Cleveland blew that game too. There's been so many games where it's like with minutes to play, a double-digit lead isn't holding on. So at that point, are we just having to do some corrections in our mind about what is a surefire lead or not?
Yeah, I think. You already said earlier, Thunder over Nuggets, and that's already 1-1, which was great. But they were such a heavy favorite. I do think they'll win that series.
Yes, I thought they were going to win in 4 or 5 to begin the series. I think if Aaron Gordon misses one shot, we all would have been like, okay, the Thunder are just going to run over the Nuggets, which is partially the Thunder are an all-time great regular season team, but historically great, but also the Nuggets just don't play defense.
Yeah, that's why I thought, and I don't know that I would have picked them. I think in the West, I think the best, the T-Wolves have a pretty good makeup, but honestly, I think the Clippers had the best roster makeup for the Thunder. They didn't beat Denver, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah, and I guess the thing that I do give Denver credit for, and I should more, is that they have the MVP.
They have the best player out there.
And the best player on the court a lot of the time. Now, obviously, SGA is going to win it this year, but I mean, to say SGA is always better than Jokic is doing Jokic a disservice.
Right. Jokic is he's one of one. I mean, he's absolutely amazing. He didn't have the same kind of game. That's fine, but he needs the group. He needs Murray. He needs Brown. He needs Gordon. He needs Porter. He needs everybody.
Especially against the best defensive team in the league.
Yeah, for sure. And then the East, obviously of the 2 series, I think the Cavs are in more trouble. It did sound like there was good news that I read that I think they may get some of those guys back tonight, and that's big. I think they could go in and win Indiana. Indiana's just so good offensively, and they got there last year too. I just don't know why people have always slept on Indiana. I did think Cleveland would win the series, but now that they're down 0-2, it's going to be really difficult. I still think Boston is going to win the series. If I were picking, I think Boston will win, but I don't feel great about that, but I think they will win.
I think Boston has a better chance than Cleveland does at this point because, yes, all the people were injured, but Donovan Mitchell gave you the game. 48 points, 21 free throw attempts, 30 shots. He gave you the game, and they had the lead, and they still blew it at the end. Yeah. I'm shocked Cleveland is down 0-2. Like, that's the one that I'm most surprised by because, Boston's always going to have the guys come back, but Cleveland, this was an overachieving season. This was probably their best chance to get to the finals.
Yeah.
And it's looking real tough for them at this point.
For sure. Well, it's going to be wild for the Knicks and Celtics in New York. Man, that's going to be a fun watch on Saturday. We got 2 games tonight, Cavs and Pacers, Thunder and Nuggets. They'll be the same teams that play Sunday. And then, of course, Saturday in between, you got the Celtics, Knicks, Timberwolves, Warriors. All right, when we come back, JR, we'll get to you on the phone lines. Hey, that's the second time for JR today. I like that. And is there any player in the NBA you would want more for your team over the next 5 years? Is Ant the guy? Maybe it's someone else. Which player would you pick? We'll discuss that next.
It's Clean Car Month. Right now, get the Pro X1 Car Care Collection Wash Kit for just $19.99, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have you ever dreamed of shopping for the perfect jewelry from home? Well, now it's possible, and you can even build your credit. PrestigiOJewelers.com now offers online shopping, making us the premium credit jeweler nationwide. With an exceptional selection of fine jewelry, from engagement rings and gold chains to sparkling diamond earrings and much more. With over 30 years of experience, Prestigio guarantees you'll find exactly what you're looking for. It's fast and easy. Once approved, you'll receive a guaranteed credit line from $400 to $10,000. All you need is to be 18 years or older, have a valid form of ID, be employed for a minimum of 6 months, and a bank account for automatic payments. PrestigioJewelers.com is the perfect way to establish or reestablish your credit, with interest rates at only 2.25% per month. We are here to help you with monthly reporting to all major credit bureaus. The perfect jewelry, the perfect price, helping you build perfect credit. Visit us online at PrestigioJewelers.com or at one of our locations in Sacramento, Stockton, Merced, and Fresno. Enter code SACTOWNSPORTS at checkout to save 10%.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, the A's call-up of last year's first-round pick and 4th selection overall in the draft, Nick Kurtz, is not surprising, but his rise through the A's minor league system is pretty astounding. Kurtz has played in only 32 minor league games, but the numbers are eye-popping. A .336 average, 11 home runs, and 37 RBIs.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Get ready for an adrenaline-pumping, action-packed day at Monster Truck Madness. Witness the insane power of Rockstar, California Kid, Identity Theft, Spitfire, Reverse, Titan, and more. Plus, right along the massive Monster Truck. It's all happening Saturday, May 10th at the San Joaquin County Fairgrounds with 2 back-to-back shows at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the wildest event of the year. Tickets are selling fast, so head to StocktonDirtTrack.com for tickets and more info. It's Monster Truck Madness. Non-stop, high-octane thrills that you can't miss.
The hot weather is coming. Is your HVAC system ready for it? Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating make sure it is. Get to Lee'sAirPlumbingandHeating.com. Check out their $99 HVAC tune-up special. And let me tell you why Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating is the way to go. They took care of me when our heater collapsed over the winter, and Lee's set us up with a great new HVAC system that is providing comfort, value, and quality. Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating take care of you. License number 635355.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Well, I know this one's been sampled multiple times.
Many times.
So I don't know which one this is, but I do believe it's the original. Well, I say original, but from the Police.
Yes, this is the Police. I read a really interesting story one time that it's like there's essentially in like music psychology 5 different day parts where it's like there's music for like morning, middle of the day, evening, like night, and then late night.
Okay.
And like there's different inflections and stuff. And this is the quote unquote perfect song because it matches all 5 day parts or something.
But everywhere. Okay, I can see that.
This is apparently the quote unquote perfect song.
Who knew?
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
Well done, Police, Sting, and crew.
It'll last the test of time.
Yes. Jason Ross in for Allen Stiles. Kyle Ledbetter is here, and so is Ant-Man.
Handoff, Randall to Nah, down the lane, out to Ant, the corner, lines up the three and buries it. Boy, Ant has been money on his catch-and-shoot threes.
Well, is Ant the player you would want over the next 5 years? You can have your pick of any NBA player. Is that your guy? We'll discuss that here in a moment. But we got to get to our guy, JR. JR, good morning.
Well, not good morning. Looks like you slept in, old man.
I know. I've bedhead to prove it.
You got Kyle over there doing passive-aggressive, your generation.
I didn't like that, JR, because you are of my generation. I claim you.
Remember when we saw the first Pope get, Pope Leo the One?
Yep. That was the
was
college years.
time.
That was fun.
Now the college years. Wow, you're really dating yourself now, young man.
Yes.
Real quick, the Thunder Nuggets. I actually think that's going 7.
Do you? Why?
I just think people underestimate how good the Nuggets are when it matters. And I know last year came up short, but they're only 2 removed from winning the whole damn thing. So I think they're seasoned enough to understand how to throttle the Nuggets.
Okay.
I'm sorry, throttle the Thunder.
Yeah.
And by the way, Thunder Nuggets, that's my wrestling name. Did you know that?
You know, of course I knew it. I went and seen you in person.
Do you know what my signature move is?
Please tell.
The teabag.
Okay. Thank you, JR.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
I waited for the setup, knew it was dangerous.
I had my hand over the button.
JR. All right, let's check in quickly here with Mitch. Mitch, how are you?
How's it going, Jason?
I'm doing well.
Cool, bro. All right, get sleeping late today.
Yeah, later. Yeah.
I would take SGA also.
Oh, that would be your guy over the next 5 years. So tell me why.
That guy, he's fast. He's serious. I like his shot. I just like his game. He's very athletic. He's quick. But Anthony's no slouch, so I would take him. So one guy, I think the Kings passed up on him. They took Keegan.
Wait, which guy? Which guy did they pass up on for Keegan?
Ben Mathurin with the.
Oh, Mathurin. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and you gotta like the way that the team, the Pacers are constructed. I mean, they're well balanced.
They are, and thank you, Mitch. It was breaking up a little bit there. The interesting thing about that was actually a guy I did want for the Kings. That draft pick was Benedict Mathurin, but I'm really happy with Keegan. I don't look at that again. When you look at the draft, to me, that I'm curious in your philosophy, Kyle, but I know the Kings have been getting grief for taking a lot of guards. I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, if they thought the better player was a forward or a center, you'd take that. To me, you're about acquiring talent in the draft. So my example I used to always give is way back when, if you had Kobe Bryant and then Dwayne Wade was available for the Lakers, you take Dwayne Wade and figure it out. Like he's too talented. So if last year the Spurs had Wemby and Zach Edey was there and they rated him, you take him. And then that's an asset that, yeah, you have 2, but you probably won't keep 2, but now you can move one of them for something else. I don't think you draft for fit. You draft for talent, and then you trade and free agency around the other needs.
Especially if you're picking between like 10 and 30 in the draft, because like Bill Simmons did this breakdown one time. It's like there's a 50% chance that player is going to be an NBA contributor, period. Mm-hmm. So if you can just
on 10 to 30?
Huh?
On 10 to 30?
10 to 30.
Yeah.
It's like 50-50 shot that you're going to get someone who contributes at all. If you get an all-star like the Kings did with Tyrese, you're beating the odds. But for the most part, it's that point. I mean, even with the Keegan thing, my point on like 4 through 6, that Mather and Keegan is like, if Keegan spends 7 years as the starting 4 for the Kings.
It's a good draft pick.
Yeah, it's a hugely successful draft pick.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be a superstar, but if you get a someone who is playing on your team for half a decade to a decade, then that was a successful draft pick.
Yeah, and let's go back to like the Kings' biggest mistake. I mean, there's a lot of them, but the one that gets is Bagley over Luka. And if anywhere in point the logic was we already have De'Aaron Fox. The logic is sound in going Bagley and Fox would be a nice combination going forward. I get it. I get the logic behind it. It's just the amount of how far they were off on that is, and it's not only Bagley's had a career. He's not a bust, but it's not what you want it to. And the fact, Kyle, that almost everybody, not just Luka, Trae Young, Jaren Jackson Jr., SGA, who went way 11th, there were so many misses in there. They really picked the wrong one.
Yeah, and bringing it back to the idea of you just want a solid player. The Suns took DeAndre Ayton before Luka Doncic.
Right.
Nobody really bags on them for doing that because Ayton was essentially the number 3 on a team that won a conference championship, and they have a trophy to show for it. So,
but now he's already gone and on another team, and I mean, they missed too, but they don't get the grief that the Kings
no,
did.
because,
they got production.
Bygones be bygones. They won again, not an NBA trophy, but they won a conference championship out of it.
To the finals,
you say, well, sucks, but the Mavericks got one conference championship with Luka, and the Suns got one conference championship with Ayton. So they don't get the same grief. I think the Kings part is like, because it was Bagley or Luka or Bagley, that's a $1 billion mistake that they made.
Yeah.
the logic
tough to recover.
Yeah, just because your logic is sound doesn't mean it's right for the situation.
Right. And that's why I go, you kind of, I think if you're always under the umbrella of we are taking what we think, and again, it's what you think is the best player. And that to me would be, if you look at a mock draft and someone has, and you're picking second and someone drafts have that player 8th, that's irrelevant. That's who they're saying. If you think you've got that player at 2, you better be right. Now, in this case, I think they did more of fit, and I think, and Bagley, Bagley, if the Kings didn't take him, he was going to go 3rd, 4th. I mean, he was going. It wasn't like he was going 20th, but it just, and maybe it would have worked out better for him in Atlanta or Memphis or whoever else, or Dallas. But anyway, as we think about that, there's, Mitch mentioned SGA is a guy he would take going forward. He likes Ant. If we're looking at the next 5 years, kind of fresh start, you're picking a roster today. So I'm not trying to pair with fit and need. You've got the lot of the NBA landscape in front of you. And I'm telling you, this player contract, we're not even factoring contracts. You are going to have this as your foundation piece for the next 5 seasons. According to you, I believe you think it's Ant. Is that where you go?
I would say it's either Ant or Luka.
Okay.
And I'm kind of
tell me why.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place.
And not SGA.
SGA is a very good shout. I would go with again, SGA is not old or anything, but he has a little more wear on his body than Ant at this point. I think Ant's just entering his prime versus SGA is in the middle of that prime. Again, it's splitting hairs, obviously, but Luka, I think he has the highest upside of any player in the league. Like, I think he could be a 3-time, 4-time MVP in the years to come. So I would just bet on the upside of the person who plays that game with that skill set, who's essentially a magician, has the potential to be a 3-4-time all-star coming up. And that's not to say Ant can't be that. It's just Luka's game is more conducive for long-term regular season success.
So I have a different name than you. And I'm going, this is probably showing our age here. I'm taking the Joker still.
That was another name I thought of.
I think Giannis has to be in contention. And I know, okay, we're going 5 years. So let's talk about that. Giannis is turning 31 this season. So he'd be 31 to 36. Joker's 30. So, I mean, he just turned 30 this season. So he'll be 30 and 31 in the next season, turn 30 in February. The bigger concern I would have with him, he's incredibly durable. It's just, does he want to play for 5 more years? I look at the way what Steph's still doing. LeBron's just a physical freak. I mean, he's one of one. But I think we all get caught up in the age at 28, okay. 28 is kind of like the sweet spot of experience. Athletic prime, it's going to start to slow down, but I don't think Jokic has never been about athletic prime. I mean, he's got all the skills, all the know-how, and people haven't been able to crack that code. So I think if I knew I had a team that he was going to be on for 5 years, I know I'm going to be good. I think I would still go Jokic.
I think that's a good shout because all of these are the traditional, they're young players.
Right.
You expect they're going
to be awesome.
But Jokic has given you no reason to doubt him or reason to believe that he's not going to be able to do what LeBron or Steph have done, which is play at a league high level into their mid 30s.
Yeah, and then around your player, if it's Luka, which is another, you got to construct around him, which is a great luxury. And same thing for Jokic, is just to have that anchor in the middle. I think it's really point guard or center if you can have that. That's such a huge advantage.
That's why Wemby is an interesting one too.
Yeah, I mean, Wemby, I would think about. I just don't know yet how he's more dominant defensively, which is actually exciting because I think you just naturally get better offensively. But I don't know. I don't know what he's going to be. And now we've already seen there's just a little nervousness about an injury. But, hey, I hope he's going to be fine going forward. All right, good first hour. Thank you to all of you checking in. We really do appreciate it. If you're on our YouTube page, continue the conversation and the dialogue there. Hit the thumbs up while you're there. On the text line, 339-1140. Jason Ross in for Allen Stiles. Colin and I have more to come, including the next hour. We begin the Yankees, the hated New York Yankees are in town. This is a big deal. I mean, it really is. But the A's are playing well. This could be good baseball this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to discuss that and more as we begin the next hour of the show, straight out here on Sacktown Sports.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Advanced Infusion Center, where we prioritize your comfort and well-being. Whether you're managing a chronic condition or seeking specialized IV therapy, our state-of-the-art center offers tailored solutions to meet your needs. Advanced Infusion Center's dedicated healthcare professionals are here to ensure your safety and provide personalized care. Conveniently located in Sacramento and Yuba City with flexible scheduling options. Experience a new standard in infusion therapy. Visit Advanced Infusion Center today at advancedinfusion.com.
You heard the news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange and listed on the big board. Millions of Americans like you are joining our news revolution. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top 12 news brands in America. Even President Trump says it's terrific. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax, and its audience grew 50% since the same time last year. Millions really are making the switch to Newsmax. If you want to be a Newsmax share owner, call your advisor or get more info at newsmaxinvest.com. Stand with Newsmax today for a strong America. This communication is for informational purposes only and shall not be intended to or shall not constitute any offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such offer, solicitation, or sale would be unlawful.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton and Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
At SMUD, we power business with incentives, strategic account advisors,
50% lower rates, and clean energy solutions, we help businesses thrive. That's our Clean Power Promise. Learn more at smud.org.
KHD KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Good poll.
Glad you like this one.
Let's wait for Frankie to sing. Kyle Ledbetter, Jason Ross, Allen Stiles back with us on Monday, fresh and rejuvenated. He's been working, actually.
Sure.
I guess so. But hopefully everybody's got a good weekend ahead. Mother's Day this weekend. Happy Mother's Day out there to all the moms. Whatever role a mom, there's a lot of people that, actually, if it was your mother or people that played the role of moms in your life, we'll have a shout out to moms a little bit later. Want to finish up before we get into the A's and Yankees coming up this weekend. Kind of talking about the player you would choose in the next 5 years from the NBA. You got the whole lot. Austin's got a thought on that. Let's welcome in Austin. Austin, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for taking my call. I don't know if I have an exact answer for you guys, but I'd go Anthony Edwards only because of the mentality. So, yeah, Luka has all the skill, and so does Jokic. But there's something about Anthony Edwards where it reminds me kind of like Kobe, where it's just that killer mentality, and you can't teach that. So Luka checks out a lot, and I just can't imagine having a guy on my team who doesn't play defense. That's what my dad taught me. That's what all my coaches taught me is you got to play both sides of the court. So I just can't put Luka on my list. And then going to the A's, because I know you guys are transitioning, as an Oakland A's fan, I really hope that they stay in Sac. I don't think that they will, but my most memorable moment of the Oakland A's is when the Red Sox beat the Yankees, because that's how much of a Yankees hater that I am. So I went to college and I watched that 0-3 turn into, the Red Sox winning. That's how much I am an A's fan, that I have to root for an East Coast team to beat the Yankees.
Well, Austin, we end as enemies. No. I mean, just go ahead and pick the worst sports moment of my life. That's fine, Austin.
That is number one for you?
No, it's not the worst. It's not the worst. It was bad, though. It was really bad. That was awful, especially when it was like, it was happening. It was game 4, like, all right, 3-1, then 3-2, 3-3. I remember game 7, like, all I have to do is just win game. I mean, this sucks, but just win game 7. If I'm not mistaken, it was in New York, and I used to have the pitcher off the top of my head. He gave up like 5 runs in the first, like a grand slam.
Yeah, it was like not even close.
It's like, I'm usually optimistic, and I'm already, seeing like this could possibly happen. And then you're like, it's happening. It's definitely going to happen. It's already over, and they hadn't even come to the plate yet.
Yeah, it was like a 3-hour just torment of you having to sit with your emotions instead of like, oh, they might do it. They might do it. And then the heartbreak at the end. It's like, no, you just got to sit with the fact that this is happening.
And the fact that I didn't, grow up I've just been a Yankee fan. I want them to, I don't have the venom, honestly, to the Red Sox. I really don't. That's not like being a UCLA fan. There's UCLA, USC. Like that's authentic. That's there. That's in place. Whereas the Red Sox, I mean, I don't root for them, but I just got to know as a community, as a Red Sox nation or whatever, they won 2 World Series since then? Well, that World Series, another one, at least maybe 3, at least 2.
Boston won 04, 07, 2013.
Yeah, so 3.
And then, they won with Mookie in, 2018.
They have 4?
They have 4, including the year that they beat the Yankees.
But I believe, World Series is the ultimate. But to be the only team to do 3-0 and to do it to the Yankees, like that, they went on to sweep the Rockies or the Cardinals that year. The Rockies, I think. They wanted to complete the deal, but the World Series was already won for them.
Yeah,
what they just did to their rival, who they've always hated, like that. Can they beat that?
there's two sports where I look at it and it's like, because of the stakes, the storylines, and the way that it happened, there's two moments that I just don't think are ever going to be topped as like the moments of their sport. It's that with Yankees, Red Sox, and everything that meant and what baseball meant in the 20th century, and the Duke Carolina Final Four, Coach K's last game. It's like all the drama, the history of it. There was no way you're going to get that was 40 years in the making, just like Yankees Red Sox was 87 years in the making, that one upset.
Well, and what's great about even like Austin, I'm giving you grief, Austin, but yeah, if you're a lifelong Oakland A's fan, and yeah, you hate the Yankees, and I think this weekend is going to be interesting because, Kyle, you've been at a lot of the games. I've been at a lot of the games. It's been fun. I don't get to go to games much as a fan, and I went in with a buddy on tickets, and I'm having a blast. And what I've found is, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a huge Aaron Judge fan. For people that want to know, I was like, why are you a Yankee fan? My cousin played for the Yankees years ago. And then right after him, they got Don Mattingly, who was my favorite player. Then it kind of went into Jeter. There was only, I really, from my cousin, who was Greg Nettles, who played for the Yankees and Padres, your team.
Yeah.
Then kind of went right into Mattingly and Jeter. I think I've got like about a 2-year window where I didn't have my cousin to Mattingly to Jeter to Judge. And so it's just been, those have kind of been my favorite players. And so it'll be interesting tonight to see them in person here. It's been fun watching the Padres and the White Sox, the Rangers, the Mariners, the Cubs that have all been through here. But I found myself really liking the A's. And that's what's kind of been an offshoot. I've liked the A's before, but not like, I mean, they're somewhat local and they're in Oakland, and the Giants, I want them both to do well. I don't really, I know too many people that like those teams. So I'm like, yeah, they're happy. Their team's doing well. But now that I'm going to a ton of the games and watching them play, and I'm like, man, Jacob Wilson can really play. And I know they got huge expectations for Kurtz, and Butler's fun, and Soderstrom and Rooker. I'm like, and then Mason Miller's intros. I mean, I get goosebumps when he comes in. I like them. I think they're a lot of fun.
I think that's a great perspective to have on this whole experience, because
it might be 1 year, might be 4, might be forever.
Yeah. We don't know what it is. We don't know why it is. There's all sorts of morality issue. I mean, it's the thing that I've taken away from this is something that has never happened before. So there has never been a team positioned in another city that is not the city they came from or the city they are going to for an extended period of time. And you can do like natural disasters,
right, Katrina and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's been and pandemic, the Tampa Bay Raptors and everything else, but there's never been like, we are intentionally making a move to another city. And so it's this weird, fun experience where I look at it and I'm like, I'm going mostly as a media person and I'm observing it, but it's like, it's Major League Baseball, but it feels like it's in this like little pocket that no one is paying attention to. And you don't really ever see that.
And what's weird, when it started and there was home runs galore, but it's like, now it's kind of shifted into, there's not 9 a night. It just happened to be, a few games that way. And like, and Mark Kotze said it. He's like, I don't know that I want to say it's a hitter's park yet. Like, I remember the first game I went to, which was the second home game. So it wasn't the opener for the Cubs. Suzuki hit one dead center off the batter's eye. That was, I think that's 403 out there. And it was middle of that up. And it just makes this bang when it hits that wall. And you're like, that's out of every park. That's irrelevant of being in West Sacramento. And I mean, there's maybe been a cheapie here and there. I think Jacob Wilson's first home run in that park, I said was the only park it would have been out of. Okay. There's other places that stat can exist. I think by and large, Kyle, it's been, if bad pitching happens, people are taking advantage of it. If there's, I don't know that the park has anything besides the for the players themselves and maybe the fans that's leaning it more towards hitter, more towards pitcher. I mean, we've seen some games where the pitching's been good. I mean, I think it's kind of just normal baseball out there.
Well, that's also why baseball is so weird, because remember the calamity of an 18-3 opening where there's drones on the field and scoreboards.
Everything's happening.
Yeah. Like, everyone made that the indictment of the A's, and I kind of made the point when they got swept is like, it's baseball. The Cubs might be awesome and the A's might be terrible, or maybe it's nothing. 3 games don't mean anything in that sport. And look at it now. The Cubs are the best team in the National League, and the Padres, who beat them up, are second place in their division, and the Mets are first place in the National League. And then you've seen the A's, after getting through that gauntlet of a schedule, are an above 500 team.
Yeah, then they got the Rangers, who are 2 years removed from being a World Series champion, thought to win this division, but we'll see. They've had the Mariners, who are in first place, so they probably should have won all of the games. They took advantage of the White Sox, which is what you're supposed to do. I mean, the Yankees are next in. You still got, this month for the A's, they got the Yankees now. Next week, it's the Dodgers and Giants. They got the Phillies later this month. I mean, they really have a tough schedule, but now watching them, and, on the morning show, when I'm there with Dave, we've had the chance and the luxury of talking to basically about an A's player roughly a week, and it's been great. You can just tell they now think they're good, which there's a difference there. It's like, hey, we might have something, or like they come back all the time. Like they'll have an ending. You're like, oh my gosh, how'd they just give up 5 runs? And then they're right back. They're right back in the game, or they get the tying run at the plate, or they just they've got flaws. They're certainly not this perfect team. Sometimes I wonder about their fielding. The middle relief at times has been a little shaky, but the lineup is good. The atmosphere is fun. And I know everybody kind of went through the range of emotions. What's it going to be like out there? And the early were like the most expensive ticket. And now you're seeing tickets some nights, I can get tickets behind home plate for $30. Like, we've been all over the board in just like 2 months out there, a month and a half.
Yeah, it's not even been 2 months yet, which is what's remarkable about it. And you look at the team, and it's like, if you look at the landscape of the American, and baseball's weird, they go through ups and downs. The Mets were the worst team in baseball in May, and they went to the NLCS. It's like, baseball's weird, but you look at the landscape, it's like, at the very least, this team is going to be in the playoff push come trade deadline time. And even that will be a tremendous success for the first year. If we end up getting 3 to 4, what can you build upon that?
Right.
What if they're out here trying to trade for Sandy Alcantara? Like, what happens at that point if you bring a Cy Young level pitcher to Sutter Health Park? Like, what could change in just a year or two?
Yeah, and I'm anxious to see how it goes along. The sellout was the first game of the year. Understandably, I'm part of history. It's in Sacramento. You get a chance to see the A's here. There's people that are like, I'm not spending a dime on John Fisher. I'm not telling you to change your mind on that. I totally understand that. There are A's fans that are also go, you know what? This is my team and they're in my city. I get to go. I'm happy for that. There'll be Yankee fans there, a lot of them. And it might be embarrassing how many are there. That'll be annoying. Yeah. I don't know. That's it. That's the experience. Weird is perfect. It is weird. And, I've been at, for example, the games I've been to, you have had, I went to Monday and Wednesday of the Mariners this week. There were, in the same game, let's go Mariners chant, let's go Oakland, Sacramento. I mean, what is happening? There were all sorts of chants. None of them were wrong. And you're like, it's weird.
It's the most divisive situation I've seen. And that, where I've given people a lot of grace is like, this has literally never happened before.
And we don't know the end. Like, if it was like, hey, it's a 100% 3 years. Okay. Today we don't know the end. That might be the end.
We don't all know flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah. And so one of the national teams that you either love or hate, they're here. A big star is here, and Aaron Judge. The A's are a good team. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And Sacramento having stars come to Sacramento, not necessarily as people permanently playing here, but this is another event kind of in the history of sports in Sacramento that we're going to discuss. Pat in Elk Grove, A's fan here since the 70s. Go A's no matter where they are. And that's not wrong to think that either. We've got more from you straight ahead here on Sacktown Sports.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Everybody up close, bases loaded, one out.
Jacob Wilson looking to be the hero once again.
0-2 pitch, back up the middle, a base hit. Wilson does it again. The savior in Sacramento. Chaos in the capital city, and the A's win 7-6.
Jacob Wilson, front runner for American League Rookie of the Year. This guy can hit. Puts the ball in play. Watch that footwork in the box. It's totally open stance, then it starts to get closed. Like, he's got dancing feet in there. Heck of a player. Had the walk-off earlier in the week. And he and the rest of the A's will be hosting the New York Yankees. Our text line, by the way, said we were talking about that Game 7, Kyle, the Red Sox. I'm like, I can't remember who pitched. In my mind, the texter said, I believe it was Kevin Brown. I'm like, I don't think it was Kevin Brown. Well, I was wrong. It was Kevin Brown, who I was thinking of. Kevin Brown got knocked around. They took him out, and they brought in Javier Vasquez. I'm like, no, it's not going to work. Brown got a lot of the earned runs, but Vasquez added fuel to the fire. And, yeah, so just looking back on that painful box score, it was 2-0 after 1, 6-0 after 2. Yankees got 1, and then it's 8-1, and, yeah, then it's just a slow death. 10-3 loss. So, yeah.
The least memorable of the games, which is remarkable to think about in hindsight.
Amazing series. Like, what was Game 7 like? It was a mess.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Boston. It was a Boston party.
Some people probably think the Kurt Schilling game was Game 7.
Right. With that fake blood. I'm not bitter. Anyway, the Yankees are here emotionally, too, for A's fans out there or A's haters, right? They're people that, and John Fisher didn't help and hasn't helped, and that name is the devil to a lot of people. His press conference, Kyle, when they were officially like, they're coming. Like, look, if we go back, my priority number one was, keep him in Oakland. They've got history. It's amazing, the fan base. But guys, we also can't be naive to say, like, Sacramento Kings, Kansas City, Omaha, Rochester, Cincinnati, like
also St. Louis, Omaha.
Yeah. Teams move. They don't a lot lately, but it happens and it stinks. I'm not saying, get over it. That's not my point at all. But if they could have stayed in Oakland, yes. But once it was becoming an option and really more of a reality, I didn't want to see him in Salt Lake if the option was Sacramento. Now, to me, look, I'm happy they're here. I'm enjoying it. I feel for A's fans. If you're boycotting them, I'm not telling you not to. But Fisher, I also look at it differently. There's some people, Kyle, that have the blanket statement, I'm not putting a dime in his pocket. I have never thought that as my entertainment dollar, that I'm doing that, which I guess I am. But I'm like, I also look at it like I've been able to go with my wife and my son and my brother and friends, and it's been a great time. I love the in and out. Just like I'm going to watch. I love baseball.
Yeah, the problem is the structure itself, that it's like individual ownership of these teams means inherently you are giving those people your money, which,
but their money's coming from TV deals and being in the organization of the sport.
Sure. And different people will put different morals in different places. For example, I'm someone who, if I could help it, would put no dollars in John Fisher's pocket, because you've broken the cardinal rule of baseball, which is these teams are public trusts. They are things that should belong to their cities, and you are a gatekeeper of a public trust.
Agree 100%.
And I also capitulated in the sense of I wanted to go watch the Padres.
Right.
And I got
lucky. They're here.
Yeah. It's the only time maybe that I will ever get to watch the team I grew up watching play down the street.
Yeah. So for the Padres, I was sitting next to a fan who was a basically almost every game I've been to, we've been around opposing teams' fans, but he was a Padre fan, and I was, chatting it up with him. He's like, yeah, we live in Reading, and I would usually go to a Padre game a year in San Francisco. He's like, but this is so much easier, so much more convenient. Wanted to check out the park, and he was going to a couple games. I'm like, okay. And so everybody's kind of got a different story and a different reason, and it might be to watch Aaron Judge and the Yankees. It might be to watch whoever else, or it might be the A's. And I think over time, as they continue to play better and win and start to develop players and personalities that you get attached to, because you've been at the games, you've been sitting up in the media section, and I know probably, this is my guess, you haven't told me this, but from your view of like looking at the stands, there generally is a big patch that's open behind the home dugout and the visiting dugout.
Yes.
And those are players' tickets. And understandably, when the, White Sox are here, how many of them have connections to people in Sacramento? But the A's should, but they haven't yet. I mean, they're just got here.
Yeah.
And so it's really kind of interesting to see those little pockets that are kind of wide open. And then as the game goes along, you're like, yeah, it actually looks pretty good out here.
Yeah, there's also an interesting part where it's like you'll see people, and then like 2 rows of empty seats, like kind of along the third baseline. And apologies to whoever in the media section brought it up, but it's like, why is that the case that there's like sections? Like that's where the price level changes. And so at a certain point, it's like people will go if it's the, $15 ticket on a Tuesday night,
right?
But maybe they're not going to pay $130 for a behind home plate experience against the Mariners or the Rangers or a team that they're just not emotional about. And normally that would be the A's, is people want to go watch the A's, but I don't know how many people are doing that right now.
Yeah, like I said, I got him as just a 1-year deal with a buddy of mine. He's an A's fan, and I'm a baseball fan. So yeah, and then we didn't really do a draft. We kind of just went through each series. Like, this is your game, this is my game, this is the game. Day games we're trying to go together, and so far we have 2 tickets. And then there's been an opportunity or two. We'll try to sell a few. And the first time we were trying to sell, I think, was the White Sox, which was the wrong one. But it's like, it got to a point like, can I just get the money back? Which we're not even close to that. And you're like, I can't even believe I'm posting this price for ticket. It's embarrassingly low. And you're like, all right, I'm just going to give these away to somebody, But I think people did buy him as an investment. And I think that's been a big backfire.
Yes. Dane Brown, who writes for The Ringer, Dan or Dane, I don't remember exactly, but he did this like comprehensive, like 3,000 word breakdown of the whole thing. It was kind of like, talk to people who bought season tickets and now are like, I thought I was going to be able to make money on this endeavor, or at least go to games I wanted to watch. Yeah. And the market for tickets has just completely fallen off. And it's kind of weird. Like the Braves still come, the Red Sox still come. I think the Phillies are here in 2 weeks, but after that, there's not a premier team coming back. They were all front loaded at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Then will it be, hey, I'm going to watch the A's? I mean, if they keep doing this and are playing well, these tickets are now, now we get to the Yankees. Like, no, I'm going to the Yankee games.
That was one of the reasons why you got them.
Yeah. And so, but I do, of course I look, I go, oh, this is one I could probably sell for higher, but it's not as like when the tickets were I first got them. It's like, whoa, I can't believe how high some of these other tickets are. Well, maybe we do want, I wasn't ever thinking about selling, but those have come down a little bit, but it's still going to be a good time out. And it kind of sets up for, look, the history of Sacramento sports. Look, the Kings have been here 40 years now. And the early years, Kyle, when they were, bad, like they've been here, they haven't been bad the last couple of years, but they haven't been a playoff team. But it was like, oh, I'm going to watch Larry Bird. Michael Jordan's coming in. Magic Johnson. Like, it was as much, the Kings are here. We love our guys, but I get to see Magic Johnson. I get to see Larry Bird. And that's a little bit of what this is. It's like, oh my gosh, when's Shohei coming? Well, the Dodgers aren't here this year, but they'll be here next year. But Aaron Judge is baseball's biggest star, or Shohei, and he's here tonight. That's to me is a significant deal to Sacramento.
Yeah, or it's Fernando Tatis, or it's Juan.
And when he hit one over the clubhouse, my God,
that was crazy. I was there for that.
That was incredible.
I took a photo of it too. I only went to one of the Mets games, but it was like, that's Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto,
and Alonso
batting in the batter's box. That's $1 billion standing at home plate of Sutter Health Park. And it's like, but this is the tough part, is like, we're never going to get to the point of building up those 3, 4, 5, 10 years of getting invested in the players because of all the uncertainty around it. But at least for the time being, I think you're right. It is hey, Aaron Judge is here tonight, and the New York Yankees are going to play in Sacramento. And I would guess tonight is going to be the second sellout in the entire time that they've been here. I think this is game like 18 or something like that. And this is probably going to be sellout number 2.
Right. And I will be interested to see what Saturday does. Sunday's Mother's Day. Does that mean more or less? I'm not sure how that'll play out, but it falls in line, Kyle, with just kind of the historical perspective, like I said, of Magic, Michael, LeBron, even Kobe, Shaq. Like that's sometimes people are going to see like the stars of the sport. There was a preseason hockey with the Sharks years ago at Arco where Wayne Gretzky was coming through, and it's like, man, Wayne Gretzky's going to be here. I think about in 2000 and 2004 out at Sac State when the U.S. Olympic trials were here. And to me, there was a ton of buzz in 2000 when Michael Johnson, that was the year he was, I think he was coming off the Atlanta. Is that right? 96?
Yeah, Atlanta 96.
Where he had the gold shoes. Yeah, and then he was coming like that guy, the fastest 200 and 400. Like Michael Johnson's going to be here. And to watch him was just, and Marion Jones, like these are names that people knew. And she was a famous track star and he was famous. Like it's just so weird, like when they're here and you can see them right there just a few feet away.
Yeah, that again, they're not the same names, but for me, getting to with the credential, go watch batting practice. I'm like, that's Manny Machado, that's Fernando Tatis. These are the players I grew up. Obviously, I'm not that old, but going to watch them play at Petco Park, and now they're here, they're right in front of me. It's pretty remarkable.
And we've had some. I mean, it hasn't happened in a while, but there were some amazing boxing bouts at Arco and different places in Sacramento, even Memorial Auditorium in the 80s and 90s. MMA has been here. Uriah Faber has had some big fights here. I just think there's something to it when this city, for the most part, has just had the Kings. Now there's been the Monarchs and the Republic now, and now with the A's and Sac State's growth, like there's way more that's starting to happen here. But even from, there's been cycling events, the strongman competition, indoor soccer, well, football has been here too with the Surge and Gold Miners. Dante Culpepper was a member of the Mountain Lions or in the league, if I'm not mistaken. Was he a Mountain Lion? I think he might have been. It's just kind of cool when you have names that like kind of everybody knows that come through like this.
Yeah, and this is going to be the biggest one because, other than Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge is the guy in baseball and is having a heater of all heaters this season.
And then the other one will be just the Giants, right? On 4th of July too, just that part of it. And then, how many Giants fans now go, I don't have to go to San Francisco. I can watch my team right here in Sacramento.
And then there will be those Red Sox fans that are also there. That's the week to sell your tickets, Jason.
Well, we will talk more about this as well, the significance of it. If you're going, certainly let us know when we come back. Monday, it's a big day in the NBA. Yeah, there'll be a playoff game, be a couple playoff games on Monday, but also, I guess the Kings version of a playoff game with very slim chances. The NBA draft lottery is Monday. What if? Oh, let's dream. Can the ping pong balls be nice to the Kings? We'll discuss that next.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code DRIVER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code DRIVER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code DRIVER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. Get ready for Monster Truck Madness, featuring Rockstar, California Kid, Identity Theft, Spitfire, Reverse, Titan, and Monster Truck Rides. Saturday, May 10th with 2 back-to-back shows at the San Joaquin County Fairgrounds. Shows at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Grab your tickets now. StuckInDirtTrack.com. Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is only a few weeks away with Bailey Zimmerman. Cole Wetzel. Plus Billy Currington, Nate Smith, Ernest, and more. Friday and Saturday, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo. Dobiz pop-up stores, food trucks, line dancing, and more. Country in the Park, celebrating 25 years, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Goldfield Trading Post, Java City, and Elemental Wine. Get tickets and more at CITPFest.com.
People are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, from Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville, because they've seen for themselves the huge selection and the best prices at SacSuperstore.com. Good luck finding a lower price anywhere else. And if you do, they'll match it. It's as simple as that. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where a handshake still means something. Open until 10 o'clock and centrally located right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. And online at SacSuperstore.com. The guaranteed lowest price and the best selection of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeeps, and Rams. SacSuperstore.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SacktownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
You drove the miles and your tires are done. Got to shop the best prices under the sun at Big O. Big O Tires.
Shop top brand tires with the lowest tire price guarantee and visit your locally owned Big O Tires. Now through May 26th, get $80 to $120 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Cooper, Nexen, Nitto, or Sumitomo brand tires with installation purchase. Installation required. Disposal fees and shop fees extra where permitted. See store for pricing. Eligibility may vary. Not valid with other offers.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Just talking with Kyle during the break about one of my other favorite things about something that's new. So let's go back to Golden One Center. 9 years ago. Man, it's be the 10th season. We need a new arena. It's be the 10th season next year.
Got to get the ballot measure together.
Man, I'm glad we're not stressing about that. Golly, 10 years. We need some more wins in that building. But I remember the very first year, for those that you remember, like the game time was 7:30 because of concern. Like, we got to get people off of work or into work, and the traffic is just going to be different. Downtown, overrated. It was zero factor, zero. And so then what I've learned, I mean, I worked those games. It's a different setup. But Kyle, when you go, you're either going as a fan or if you're working the game too. But like, people have their routine. And now if like I've got friends that go, it's like, oh no, I work downtown, so I park in my building, or I found a parking spot 3 blocks away, or I go to dinner here and then walk there, or I Uber in. There's too many different plans. There's not one universal. Yes, everybody's coming in and going out, but not everybody's in one parking lot or one parking garage. It really hasn't been a factor.
No, I mean, it's a little messy at the end of games to get out, but you know, that's any ballpark where you're bringing 10,000 people. I agree with your point that it's like everybody has their own little routine.
That's what I do.
Yeah. It's like I live relatively close, so I've been like, I'm just going to walk along the river, head down towards the Tower Bridge, cross the bridge, and I'm there in 25 minutes. And then at night, you can make the same walk back home once the game's over. And
this is for the A's, obviously, right?
Yes, this is for the A's. I haven't done River Cats yet, but I should at some point.
Same idea. Whereas, like, I've driven to the games, and I've seen people go to, like, West Sacramento and get off on, I think it's Jefferson. I'm like, ooh, that traffic looks bad. And there's parking lots over there. But I've heard from people, oh, I park over here. I go to this lot. I actually stay in downtown. I saw a guy that baseball, there's a ton of crowd watching. You know, you're just people observing. And I saw a guy at one of the day games. It might have been the Padre one or the Cubs one, so it was early on. And what looked to me to be, and I'm judging here, as a businessman. I'm like, I don't know. People are wearing shorts or T-shirts or jerseys. I was wearing probably jeans and a T-shirt or so. I don't remember. And he was like dressed nicely, and he was about 3 rows ahead of me. I'm like, interesting attire, but whatever. I mean, to each his own.
Sure.
And I'm walking back to my car at the end of the game, and then I see him on a what is this, jump bike?
The bird scooter.
It's a bird scooter. Thank you. And he's still in his business outfit, and he's going. And now I'm interpreting the guy's life. I have no idea, but I go, you know what? He took probably like a 3-hour lunch break. He's working downtown, and I thought he was going back to the office. I'm like, you know what? Good for you. That was really cool.
I did think it was funny. The Padres series, of the 3 games, the day game was the one that sold the most tickets.
Right.
Despite the fact it's, in the middle of the workday.
Yeah. Which I thought, I went to the first one, which was the Cubs, and I thought that was a big drop off. I'm like, ooh, well, it's a day game. Maybe this is going to be a thing where it's a lot less, but the Padre one wasn't. I was like, no, there's a lot of people here today. And, we also aren't to summer yet where kids are, I don't know. I think it still could grow, but you're right. They kind of front loaded the draw of teams.
Yeah.
And not that the Major League Baseball did that, but.
I mean, the next series after Yankees, where it's like they're going to be selling every game. I think tonight it's like $80 to get in the door is the cheapest ticket. The next one 2 weeks from now is 4 games weekday against the Angels. I'm like,
some show. No. Mike Trout. Yeah. But he's.
Anthony Rendon. Yeah. It's like maybe some kids are going to be out of school at that point, but Thursday day game against the Angels is the one. People were like, when are these tickets going to be affordable for families? Thursday day game against the Angels. That's your one.
Yeah, that's your one. All right. Well, that'll be this weekend. We got more on that coming up. And so if you want to weigh in, you can. The NBA draft lottery is Monday. This used to be the Kings' wheelhouse. The Kings can still be at play here. Remember, the pick is most likely going to convey to Atlanta. If you want to get really weird on this, I guess the options are the Kings, their name, where it could land, where it could be seen, is 14th. So they could go back one. Those odds are not very good, which would hurt Atlanta by 1 spot, I guess. It could be 13, which is the highest odds. And then we wouldn't, if they're not drawn at the very first name you see on Monday or the second name, you don't see them. That's incredibly good news because then they're in the top 4. That's the only spots they could be. And if they're in the top 4, that will then become their pick. And obviously, 1 is the prize for multiple reasons because you want to feel like, wow. I mean, if they're not at 14 or 13, Kyle, it'll feel like a major victory.
Oh, my gosh. People are going to
really
lose
bad.
their mind.
Yeah, because you've made it past then they'll already say, well, this means Sacramento has moved into the top 4. That is not going to Atlanta at that point. That would be probably the best offseason news. I mean, if you love Doug Christie, happy birthday, by the way, DC. And if you love Scott Perry, that would be like a roster boost of all roster boosts. And then, there's a little bit of a letdown if you hear him at 4 or 3 or 2. But look, that would be major, major win for the Kings.
What's fun about the lottery, though, is that they go to commercial break before they announce the top 4. And so it's like you're going to have 5 minutes where you are.
Twitter will be on fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
From the moment that Chicago shows up at 13 to the end of that commercial break, I remember when it was the Zion Williamson draft and the Knicks were in the top 3. It was like a 5-minute window where Knicks fans were just losing it. Like, we're going to get Zion Williamson and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And then it was like, oh, you get RJ Barrett.
Yeah. A consolation prize. But we will do the same here. If by chance they're not 14 or 13, the best odds are 13. They can go back. Those odds aren't very good. That would, by the way, isn't that Atlanta's, but technically San Antonio's?
Yes. So no matter what happens, Atlanta's pick is going to San Antonio. So
oh, that's not protected?
It's not protected at all.
So if the Kings, the weird spot about that is that would be the cruelest thing ever to Atlanta, right? Because Atlanta's getting the Kings pick, most likely. And if they got it at 14, that means they lost 1 spot on the Kings pick, and their pick is going to the Spurs, and it's in the top 4.
Yes.
Oh, that is awful for Atlanta.
That was the funny. Remember how they had to do the coin toss to decide? It was actually better for Atlanta to lose the coin toss because they get 1 spot higher, most likely, in the draft because they get Sacramento's pick, but San Antonio gets theirs. It's completely unprotected. Only that one, and if Phoenix's ends up at the top, are the only unprotected situations.
Who does Phoenix goes to?
It goes to Houston. So
really?
Completely.
Phoenix could get Cooper Flag. I mean, Houston could get Cooper Flag.
Completely unprotected, yes. Which is why they just pushed Fred VanVleet's
delaying
option.
that. Totally makes sense. And I'm sure they're being in communication with him and his agent.
There's only one other scenario where it is, I'm just doing the quick math here. It's a 35-point-something% chance that Philadelphia loses their pick because it's top 6 protected. There's like a 64% chance they keep it. But If it falls outside of the top 6, which would be 2 teams jumping up ahead of them, Oklahoma City gets their top 10 pick.
Gets whose?
Philadelphia.
Okay.
But only if it's 7 through 9,
Gotcha.
which is like a 35% chance.
But there is a chance, Kings fans. So we're painting some awful scenarios for Atlanta, but let's make this bad for the Kings. So they have 13 or 14, which is 13 is likely the most likely. I think it's like 90-something%.
Yeah, I think 96.3.
Okay. So the odds are they're going to be 13th, which then means that goes to Atlanta. So you worry about the second round. There's not a bad chance that the Spurs can get 2 in the top 4.
Yeah, that's the crazy situation. Is the Spurs could end up with
1 and 2.
1 and 2, 2 and 4, some combination of those picks because they get Atlanta's.
And then they have their own, which right now is 8th, giving them the top pick odds are at 6%. It's not incredible, but I mean, you look at the best odds, it's Utah, it's 14. And Utah, Washington, Charlotte are all 14%.
Yeah, I think
if it's not going to be the Kings, put Cooper Flagg in the East.
Cooper Flagg in Utah would be pretty interesting too, but I tend to agree with you.
It would scare me if he goes to New Orleans, Houston, San Antonio, Portland, maybe even.
If New Orleans gets him, I just don't know what they do at that point. It's just like
they've got so much talent that hasn't all been put together right.
Yeah, it just won't make any sense. But it would certainly change. I mean, Cooper Flagg would change everything. But even a pick 2 through 4, it's like, are we packaging that for something greater? Are we taking someone whose timeline doesn't align? It's so many interesting situations.
Let me see. UPS Chris, well, the ping pong ball screwed the Sharks over this year for the number 1 pick. Islanders jumped up 9 spots to take the first pick. Hopefully the Kings can at least get up to the 4th. I mean, again, like Kyle said, that used to always be my thing when the Kings were more in the middle, like that 7 to 11 range. I would say make it to the commercial. If they can make it, which they actually had never had any luck, and then they moved up twice. They had in Fox's draft, but it was the pick swap. But still, they got into that top group and then fell back to 5 on the pick swap. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think there were 3. And then the Bagley
Boston.
They were supposed to be 7, and they went to 2. Now, they didn't take Luka or Trae Young or SGA or Jaren Jackson Jr.
In a weird way, too, they jumped up from 8 to 4 to get Keegan also.
Were they 8? Oh, yeah. So it's happened more than recently, but this is the biggest jump.
Yes.
I mean, the odds statistically are really, really bad. I always root for lottery luck. I'm going to think that they will likely be 13th, but I don't know, for rabbit's foot. I don't really have those kind of things. I'm just going to think it into existence and wish and hope and cross the fingers and whoever. I haven't seen the list. Maybe we can work on that. Do we know who's going there for us?
I do not yet. I'm guessing they'll probably do that over the weekend.
Yeah, because you know what? I'm going to look that up because sometimes they have that list of who will be representing the teams because sometimes I get a kick out of that because sometimes there'll be a player and you're like, aren't they going to trade that guy? Or it's not Kings related, but who is representing each team. We'll see if we can have that for you when we come back. Also, when we come back, more of the show to get to. I want to remind you, coming up not too far from now at 12:30. Yeah, Sean Cunningham will be joining us, talk more about the A's and the Yankees. We'll get some Kings conversation with him as well. All that as we continue right here on Sacktown Sports.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back for another thrilling season at Monterey's iconic WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, May 9th through the 11th. Only in Monterey can you experience a high-octane mix of international drivers, cutting-edge prototypes, and GT sports cars racing wheel to wheel. There'll be gourmet food, wine, craft beers, family entertainment, and exclusive fan engagement with the drivers in the open race paddock. Buy your tickets now and experience world-class motorsports. Visit WeatherTechRaceway.com. Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbfstockton.com. That's mbfstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
The hot weather is coming. Is your HVAC system ready for it? Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating make sure it is. Get to Lee'sAirPlumbingandHeating.com. Check out their $99 HVAC tune-up special. And let me tell you why Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating is the way to go. They took care of me when our heater collapsed over the winter, and Lee set us up with a great new HVAC system that is providing comfort, value, and quality. Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating take care of you. License number 635355.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Jason Ross in today for Allen Stiles. We'll be back with Dave on Monday, and Allen will be back here on Monday. Kyle Ledbetter here as always, leading you up till 2 o'clock. The Drive Guys, today it'll be Whitey Gleason with the High Flyer, Henry Turner. I think you were doing some research. I was doing some research on the representatives. I found a few teams.
I did as well.
Okay, let's see if we can cross off as many as we can. Mitch Johnson, the new coach of the Spurs, will be representing the Spurs of the lottery. Jordy Fernandez, former King assistant, will be representing the Nets at the lottery. Ashley Smith, who is the wife of the owner of the Utah Jazz, will be representing the Utah Jazz. Matas Bazelis will be representing the Chicago Bulls. Let's see. Jared McCain, the rookie, he was from Sacramento, is out for the Sixers. He will be representing them. I think that's who I got. The one I found last year's. I had forgotten this, Kyle, but do you remember who represented us last year?
Was it Keegan?
It was Keegan.
I do remember that.
I think they even went to him on the set, and he was just like, typical Keegan.
Oh.
Hi. I'm here. Should be fun. Have a blast.
So do we just do the thing of send the rookie? Is that what we're going to do?
I don't know.
It looks like I also see the Wizards are sending Bub Carrington.
Bub. Okay, he had a game winner late in the year.
Yeah, and the Mavericks are sending Rolando Blackman.
Okay.
Obviously, former star.
Yeah. I'm reaching out to some sources to see if I can find out who's going.
Mavericks had to ask like 5 people, like, will you represent
Yes.
us? They can't. I think they sent Nico last year. I don't think they could send Nico
Would
this
he
year.
get booed at a draft lottery?
Yes,
drawing
he would.
by some people that aren't randomly there.
There are people you can attend the draft lottery.
Yeah,
The show. He would definitely get booed.
And there are a couple representatives because people, like they say, have to go in without phones, without, they go in to watch the process, which I think is probably completely boring. I still wish they could do it this way. And I know it's not, it wouldn't be the best TV, but so I know it's way more convoluted than the ping pong balls that we're all thinking about. But if there was a mathematical formula that you could do it with ping pong balls and literally like with pick 14 and have the number of balls in there and the odds, the problem is, so let's just say the Kings would have probably very few ping pong balls in there. And so when you're getting to, no, they would have the majority of the ping pong balls in there, right? Wouldn't they have to do it the other way? Yeah, I think you would have to, when you're drawing, because if you're starting from 14 to 1,
yeah,
unless you did it the other way. But for drama of television, if you went with the 14th pick and who's lower than the Kings?
The Hawks.
The Hawks.
Which is also the Spurs.
Yeah, which is weird. But if they had whatever percentage amount more ping pong balls than the Kings, and you went with the 14th pick, it's the Atlanta Hawks. Then with the 13th pick, it's the Atlanta Hawks. You'd have to get bins like that.
Yeah.
It would be really a pain. But if you were comfortable enough going Atlanta, I mean, it would be bad. It wouldn't be the best TV, but if they could cut that and edit it, but then it's like, hey, is there funny business? No, we did it the right way.
Yeah, I mean, hockey, their draft lottery, they'll show you pulling the ping pong balls like on the screen. I know, again, different people, different leagues, but it's like they do the ping pong balls and they'll be like, ready, draw, and then one will pop up and it's like number 14 or whatever, and they'll pull 4 of them and it's like, here's all the possible combinations that are still on the table type of situation.
I know Dave had this idea earlier today on the show. I heard him in the morning talking about, basically if he was sports pope, what he would want to do is have relegation in sports and how great that would be. I mean, I think it'd be really interesting. I think there's no way it would happen. I say very little chance it would happen. But in the NBA, the main thing that he liked about it was how it would eliminate tanking. I think the league has done a pretty good job of that, based also on these odds. I mean, Utah had the worst season, but to have the worst season and a 14% chance, it's not that great.
No, and all these, it's changed the way that I think teams plan out these long rebuilds, because there's no such thing as a 3-year rebuild in the NBA anymore. If you're going to the bottom of the lottery, you got to try 3, 4, 5 times to get the young core that the Rockets or the Pistons or some of these other teams have at that point.
Yeah, and then even it gets redefined. Look, I'm done this so long that I'm going to use Phoenix here in 2 different examples. One being when they had Isaiah Thomas, Eric Bledsoe, and Goran Dragic. So they've got all the they've got point guards galore, and they couldn't figure out one, and they're all gone. I mean, obviously they're all long gone now. Then when they had Dragon Bender and Marquise Chris from here, it's like this small forward duo, and this is going to be the future of the Phoenix Suns. And it's like, no, it's not. And I'm not faulting them. It's just, you're right, Kyle. You have to have, this year we think we've got the young core. Now let's take another run at it by putting this young player in. Now we think we got it. Nope. Now it's just all of this moves really, really quickly in the league.
It moves even worse if you don't get that one guy
that you can build around.
I've made this point with Portland, which is Portland is now in year 4, I'd say, of their rebuild, or at least they haven't made the playoffs in 4 years. Yeah. Is there a player on Portland right now that you would say, I think this guy has a chance to be a multiple-time All-Star in the NBA?
Right.
Maybe you say Shaedon Sharpe. Maybe you say Scoot was supposed to be that guy, but they've been bad for 4 years, and you don't feel like they are. They have the young pieces, but you don't feel like they have that guy.
It's funny that you say that. That's a team. I remember seeing them here right before the trade deadline, or maybe it was the day of the trade deadline that, the Kings played the Blazers in Portland. I'm going, I think they missed an opportunity. They have a bunch of pieces that I think the whole league would want. There's no one that you go, man, we have to give it the whole farm to get this player. But Are you telling me it's Sharp? Are you telling me it's Simons? Are you telling me it's like I don't think they know that answer to your point.
Which is why, if we're getting into the weeds, I think they'd be a perfect fit for Zion right now. If you package Klingon and a couple picks and maybe Simons or something, if that's the route the Pelicans wanted to go. But
I'm with you, though, on that rebuild, like, because that's kind of been my pushback on Dave on the mornings. It's like, that's not foolproof. It can work. You got to nail it. The history of the Kings, they've shown they haven't done that. Doesn't mean they can't now going forward. But also you have to be comfortable. Like, generally, when you get to the lottery, you're there for a while. Like, the teams we're seeing here, the Hawks, the Hornets, Spurs, like Spurs, they got this great future. They might. I think that, but, Wemby hasn't had a winning season yet. I think it's coming, but, they still got to do things right. They haven't been a playoff team for a while. And
this is what, the 7th year in a row the Spurs are in the lottery?
Mm-hmm. The Kings were there a long time. It's not like, bounce to the lottery for a year and bounce out. It can, but that's rare. It's more rare that way.
The Kings were rarer because their one time they got the good lottery luck, they screwed the pooch with Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, and then the year they had the best odds, they had the worst record, 17 wins, they got the 4th pick. By the way, thank you to some sources from the Kings. I have the Kings representative. Let's play the game. Can Kyle guess? I'm going to set the over-under at... And I'll give you hints before. No, I'm not going to give any hints. I'm going to start with 5 guesses, but after 2, I'm going to give a hint.
Ooh, okay.
Let's see if Kyle can guess who the Kings representative will be at the draft lottery on Monday.
I'm going to go with the odds-on favorite first, Devin Carter.
Okay, so you're going player. Okay,
yes, rookie player.
Incorrect. I'll give you another guess.
All right, let's go Scott Perry.
Okay, that's what I thought when you said odds-on favorite, new GM. Incorrect. Now is the first hint. And now I think you will get it before 5. It's a player, a current player on the team.
Current player. Funny enough, I think when they won the lottery for Keegan, I think they sent Sabonis. So I'm going to say Sabonis.
We're going to need a 4th guess.
4th guess. If it's a player, well, there's only 6 of them I can choose from because there's only 8 on the roster. I will go Malik Monk.
We're going to need your last guess to get I guess you'll match the over under that. I should have said 5.5. So this will give you the win.
Would they send Keegan again? That's the thing I'm stuck on. Will they send Keegan again?
For the win.
I will go Zach LaVine.
Okay. Kyle did not cover the under.
That is unfortunate.
The correct answer is Keon Ellis.
That is a good shout.
Keon is going to represent the Kings on Monday. Bring us home some top 4 picks.
Yes.
Keon.
A free flight to Chicago.
Yes, exactly. Is that where it is? Chicago?
That's where it usually is.
Okay. All right. Well, that's coming up on Monday. When we come back, we are going to jump into the Kings a little bit here and around the league. The point guard position is so important. Everybody has said the Kings need a point guard. Remember when they had one of the better ones, De'Aaron Fox? Yeah, I do. But they need one. Who could the Kings target in this offseason? Kyle and I will discuss that next.
Online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
DQ presents how to hit summer's sweet spot. The new DQ Summer Blizzard Treat menu is here. And as the official treat of MLB, we're swinging big with our fan favorite S'mores Blizzard Treat. Plus, new mixing bowl mashup with brownie batter and chocolate chip cookie dough. And even more in our stacked summer lineup. Hurry in today because nothing says summer like baseball and our new Summer Blizzard Treat menu. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See full details and disclaimers.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed Sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively the Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray near sideline puts the ball in play to Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis dribble handoff to Fox. Drives it to the left elbow, retreats to three-point range. Anthony Edwards stalking him. The Aaron's down to 4. Fires for 3. He's got a 60-point ball game. It's the most points any player has scored this season in the NBA. It's 126-126 as Fox delivers. 1:06 to go.
One of the many reasons why I love the NBA on a night-to-night basis. You might be going to the game. That one was a cup game earlier this year, Kings in Minnesota. Early enough in the year, you don't know what you're going to see. Had no idea I was going to see something historical from De'Aaron Fox scoring 60. I always thought De'Aaron could get a 50 game. I was like, he's been in that 44. He had 44 a lot. I'm like, yeah, he can do it. I know he can get to 50. I did not think he could get to 60. That's pretty rare air. And De'Aaron Fox, one of, if not the best point guard in the history of the Sacramento Kings. I think you got to go to Mike Bibby, Jay Will, Reggie Theus. Probably the list, but De'Aaron was a great king. He is no longer a king.
That one random Rajon Rondo season.
He played the position very well. Collison played it pretty well, but those are years where you kind of feel like, you're trying to get by, but those guys did well. Now they've got guys that can play point guard, Kyle, like Malik can, Zach LaVine-ish. DeRozan can handle the ball. Sabonis brings the ball up. Keon, Carter. I don't feel like any of them are point guards, though.
No, I think they tried it with Malik Monk, and
he's the closest.
Yeah, but I think it didn't go very well.
He himself likes to be the two. Like, he's a combo. He can handle, but like, I liked him when he was with Fox, and they both were kind of like, hey, who's the point? I don't know. But it was a hybrid of both of them. Yeah.
In a weird way, I think their best bet was when it was Zach LaVine as the primary ball handler, not necessarily as the pass first guy, but just like put the ball in his hands and see what happens. Kind of, that was their best bet. But this goes back to the conversation you had earlier about drafting at multiple positions. It's like, you just put the players in their best position to succeed, right? Malik Monk is at his best when he plays on the wing and sometimes as a ball handler, but is running DHOs and getting spot up. That's what that's what puts him in the best position to succeed, not being a traditional primary ball handler. So that's just the weird part of 4 of their 6 best players being shooting guards.
Well, and I think the way the year started to, again, positionless basketball, people play multiple positions, and maybe it's more in who you guard, but, sometimes it's who's guarding you. And if you looked at the roster to start the year, I mean, I don't think it's a crazy argument to say Sabonis might be better at the 4. There's some good things about him at the 5, but he might be better at the 4. Keegan at the 4, maybe he's a 3. And DeRozan at the 3, he's probably a 2. And so you just keep moving that down the line. That might have been some of the roster conflicts they had, but the interesting thing when the season ends, we all played the, post exit interviews, and the thought, Sabonis was as open, like, we need a point guard. Like, wow, a lot of times people don't just openly say that.
Allen and I were both here while it was happening, and he said that, and we just both looked at each other like, wow.
He said that publicly, right?
Well, and it's Sabonis, too.
Yeah.
It's like he never says anything interesting, and he let it fly with the, I think players who have been here for a long time should have a voice, and we need a point guard.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and even the Doug thing, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And I don't think he's wrong, and it's not earth-shattering news. So how do the Kings address this? Now, certainly, if they get fortunate, like, here's an example. If they get the lottery luck that we just talked about in the last segment, they're picking number 1, I sure hope they take Cooper Flagg. Like, even if there's another point guard out there that people go, hey, there's a pretty good point, take Cooper Flagg.
Sure.
Take Cooper Flagg.
I think there's only like 20 players in the league that you would trade the potential of Cooper Flagg for at this point.
Yeah, then you go, well, how do we deal with Cooper Flagg and Keegan Murray? You deal with it. You'll figure it out. You've got 2 players that are under your contract that are young. That's a luxury, not a problem. That's a luxury.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that. You can even say the same thing if they get a Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. It's like, oh, they play similar position to Keegan. We'll figure it out later.
Exactly.
Just get the talent in the door.
Yep. And so now the best way to do that is through free agency, through a trade. So you have come up with this list of kind of the point guard hierarchy, kind of where the league kind of tiers are, which I think this is fair. Like tier 1, everybody would put Steph on there. SGA, Luka, Brunson. I see you put Tyrese Halliburton and Cade Cunningham all in tier 1.
Yes, that's my, for now, tier 1 group of like, we can have some debate about the next group of people, but these are the ones who are like, if you have them, you probably have an all-star, a perennial all-star who gives you at least a chance to compete for a championship.
I'm really wrestling in my head with Cade and Tyrese. Obviously, if they're not tier 1, they're tier 2. And it's like, are we getting in the nuance? Because like SGA, Curry, and Luka, now what Brunson is, like, it's another year of doing it. I'm like, yeah, I think I gotta put Brunson there. I have no problem with that. Tier 2, you have Harden, De'Aaron Fox, Trae Young, John Morant, Jamal Murray, Darius Garland, Damian Lillard. Man, that's terrible news about Lillard and his injury, and then Kyrie. And Trae Young, John Morant, Lillard, those are guys that either have options or can be pursued, I would say.
Yes.
Now, Lillard, you'd stay away from that, most likely, just based on.
Sure.
Or if you're doing it with like some foresight and trying to remove a contract. Like if you're going, it will take Lillard for Levine and maybe something else, and you're waiting on Lillard for a year.
Yeah, you're getting a pick back or something. Yeah. It's like, okay.
You're trying to get rid of something, basically.
Yeah, the Lillard one is acquirable. I don't know how desirable it is to acquire him right now. Would you say Cade and Tyrese because of age, or maybe in a different group than Jamal Murray or Trae Young or De'Aaron Fox potentially? Or is it one of those where it's like they're all probably in the same
Yeah, I feel
tier?
like they're all kind of just all in the same, like, because some nights, like Jamal Murray looks like he's the best point guard in the league. Like, I don't think he is, but like some nights you're like, man, that's an incredible version. How great would he be on any team?
But then he's also a 0-time all-star. It's like, why is that the case?
Right. Yeah. So then you look at, and Tyrese has his moments. De'Aaron has his, like, there's moments like that's a dude. But then part of where I think gets you to that like elite level is you're almost always there.
Yeah.
And even like a night where, and De'Aaron's close, he's close, but I felt like De'Aaron had a nonchalance at times on, okay, Charlotte's here. Yeah, Charlotte's here. Go get 45 and bury LaMelo Ball. And it's like, yeah, Charlotte's here. But if it was Steph, like, he's full alert and he's engaged, I'm like, yeah, like that's what I needed out of De'Aaron every single night. It was most nights, not every single night.
That was always the weird thing about, I remember we would go days at a time talking about the light of fire under De'Aaron Fox, and you don't want angry Fox. And that conversation always frustrated me because it was like,
why do we have to get to that?
Not only why do we have to get to that, but why do we have to question the professionalism of like, he's trying to play well. It's just, there's different levels of intensity at different times, which he's not the only person to do it, but I think some people looked at it like that's the thing that's preventing him from being, Jalen Brunson or Luka.
Yeah. And I still believe, and I'll stand by this. I mean, De'Aaron was really good in the playoffs. And I think if De'Aaron was in this playoffs, whether he was a King, a Spur, a Pacer, a Maverick, whoever team he was on, he'd be killing it. De'Aaron's great. He's a really good player. But they now have to try to replace him. And do you have any specific targets or people that you think, I mean, obviously we could say, go get SGA, something that's realistic that this team can, Scott Perry and BJ Armstrong and group can try to do.
I think one of the Pelicans, CJ McCollum or DeJounte Murray, I think is a more reasonable option. The one that I would, and Whitey has mentioned Andrew Nembhard as like, that would be a great situation. But one that I just would keep an eye on because I don't know what they want to do is the Orlando Magic with Cole Anthony, only because it looks like Anthony Black is going to be a very, very good player and a very good point guard. And so I don't know what they then do with Anthony, who has been there for years and is a very good point guard, but doesn't have the same ceiling as what Anthony Black projects to be. And do they make that move now to give Black the runway to become the point? I think he's going to be a really good point guard.
See, that's where I think the Kings need to work. And we talk about the edges here. They don't have a ton of money. They could make a trade for a significant player, like, the Trae Young's been mentioned, or free agency, those kind of things. This is a name, and we've had Bob Gerald on the show before, the son of G-Man. He was just a hoops junkie. He's got his own site, hoopobsession.com. And he alerted me to an article he had written about the Kings. And so I went and read that. I encourage everybody to check it out. It's really good on kind of the needs, roster fits, and whatever. And he attacked the point guard position. And the name he put on there, and I reached out to him too about this because I think this one is possible. I think it's a guy that's entering a spot that's been on a couple different teams, is getting a really big opportunity right now that you might have to pay a little bit, but it's like, okay, you just kind of have to look and see. It's Ty Jerome of Cleveland. When I look at him on Cleveland, every time I watch him, I'm like, man, he was good with the Warriors. He's getting more of an opportunity with Cleveland. Now with Garland out, he's been playing really well. He's had a really good season, but he hasn't been a starter. I mean, he's been a fill-in spot starter, but could he be a guy now that you go, well, you're going to be our starter? And it's not maybe a 5-year thing, but it's like, you're going to kind of have to be the one for the next 2 years or so. He wrote about it. That's a guy that I think is gettable, that other teams will be interested in, that I don't think you have to break the bank for. That also isn't going to go, wow, you got Ty Jerome, but it's like, this guy can play.
Yeah, this is the one that I've been stuck. The situation I've been stuck on is, so if you make a long-term commitment to Ty Jerome, I've seen people on the text line say like, Scottie Pippen Jr., why can't we do that?
Right,
it's
but
like,
that type of player.
That type of player is interesting because if you make a long-term commitment to them, they're undrafted guys, unsung players that have grown, you don't think have the high ceiling of a superstar.
But make you better.
If you do that, do you then have to say goodbye to Keon Ellis?
And that wouldn't be my intention or goal, but I think but which point guard do you add that you don't say goodbye to Keon / Malik / Carter / DeRozan? Or Levine. And they probably have to clean that up anyway.
Yeah, they probably have to move one of those, but I guess that's the point of taking a point guard with maybe a higher ceiling, like a DeJounte Murray, or people will throw out Trae Young or John Morant or something like that.
Where are you on D'Angelo Russell? I don't love him, but like,
if it's for 1 year, $12 million, I think any 1 year contract guy, whether that's Chris, I think Chris Paul is a good idea.
That's, everybody freaked out about the Kings not getting a young player in the Fox return from the Spurs, which I'm with, but I'm like, could they have thrown Chris Paul in just to last year, function the end of last year, and he could have just finished the year and he's a free agent, and you go, we'll run him back for one more, or you just go, thank you for probably maybe getting us higher up in the play-in. I don't know.
Yeah, I think any 1 year option, whether it's Chris Paul, D'Angelo Russell, Dennis Schroeder, Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
I think any of those people are fine. You could throw Marcus Smart in there if you want.
Nice.
Like any of those guys I think are fine because it doesn't compromise any long-term, cap situation. So any player that's on a 1-year deal, I say bring him in.
More the merrier.
You're going to be fine either way. Even the Tyus Jones or Trey Jones, but I kind of look at them and I say, if you want that style of point guard, just get Chris Paul.
Yeah. Well, is there any chance too, and we're going to discuss this next kind of more on this topic, any chance that they've got the point guard here? Can Carter be that? Can Keon be that? Can Malik be that? We will discuss that and other options at the point guard spot for the Kings. Reminder coming up at the bottom of the hour. Sean Cunningham, KCRA's Sean Cunningham, where the sports comes first, will join us at the bottom of the hour. Sean is coming up, but more on the Kings when we return here on Sacktown Sports.
Welcome to the NBA playoffs. The moment we've all been waiting for is here.
The fans now on the edge of their seats.
It's time to stay locked in to every single moment. Because you never know when history will be made. When it's win or go home, every moment matters. So don't miss a thing. NBA playoffs presented by Google continues on ABC, ESPN, and TNT.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
A lot of changes, ups and downs, and it's understandable that it would be hard to be cohesive on the court. What, in your estimations, do you agree with that there needs to be some tweaks, and maybe where would be a spot that you think?
The biggest thing is we need a point guard. That's for sure.
How do you really feel, Domas? Text line. Sack once had and I'm doing the air quotes like Buddy Hield was trying to do the other day. Sack once had a good problem to have with Fox and Halliburton, and it was never given a fair shake. They did have a really good problem to have.
That is a good problem.
Yeah. And, it's kind of back to the labels get thrown out there, and it's tough to break the labels, right? Like when people go to Sabonis, who, if you couldn't tell, that's who it was. Sabonis already played with Miles Turner. That didn't work in Indiana. It didn't? I made the playoffs a couple times. It wasn't a mess. It didn't look like they didn't belong together. I thought it actually worked okay, and I think they were actually a good complement to one another. I've always said this. I think for this current the roster that had like Fox, they even go 2 years ago, if you go Fox, Herter, Barnes, Murray, Sabonis. Let's just kind of take that group with Monk off the bench, whatever version that looks like to you. I think the player that would have complemented that starting 5 and I would have made a shift immediately would have been Jaren Jackson Jr. I think is a really good compliment to Domantas Sabonis. The things that Sabonis does well, Jaren Jackson doesn't do. Like, he's not a very good rebounder, but he spreads the floor, and then his interior defense is awesome. And that kind of helps Sabonis. I think those two, and you could, who's the 5? I don't know, Sabonis, Jaren, whatever. They're both 4-5.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson plays the 4 for the Grizzlies. And 4 and 5 only matters who you defend.
Right. And I think that's where the Sabonis puzzle, like Sabonis is a 5, sometimes it's beautiful. Sometimes it's not. And so, but I think Kyle, we were talking earlier, like if you're going, I don't even know if it's big fish hunting, but bigger than like a Ty Jerome would be Murray, McCollum. And then is McCollum a point? Is he also back in that Malik? Like, he's a scorer to me.
Yeah, he's been playing point guard for the Pelicans since DeJounte Murray went out. But even the Pelicans agreed we're better off with DeJounte Murray playing point and CJ at the 2.
And or Alvarado at times, it's just, but, if you go for a guy like Ja Morant, like Trae Young, then I feel like you're doing a rebranding of the team, which is okay. I'm not anti that by any means. Then it's like, what are you trying to define as where you're going forward? And I think that's probably what Scott Perry is trying to figure out now, is like, he could easily say Sabonis, Murray, Monk, of DeRozan or Levine, like those are our building blocks going forward. Okay, that's fine. But I think if you went for like Trae Young, let's say, all right, that's going to cost you something. Like, is Trae Young like the piece to go with that group, or is it no? I want it to be Trae Young with Keegan, and then we'll kind of filter some of that other out and bring in. It just feels like there's more steps, which is also okay for this team.
Yeah, and how much of this is a long-term play, right? If you go get Trae Young, well, he's only got 1 year left on his contract. Right. Is Trae Young going to on-site commit a 4-year max to play for the Sacramento Kings?
And do you even want that? Or is it like, hey, let's get a look at him and go, all right, this is what we want to do, and now we will offer. I really would like to know. I feel like this is an offseason of, it could just be stuff around the edges, or it could be the start of, no, this is what our plan's going to be, and it might take 2 to 3 years to get there, but we also still are trying to compete in this 2 to 3 year window.
Yeah, and that's, again, an organizational direction question more than anything else, which we haven't really gotten those answers, and maybe they don't have those answers yet.
Yeah, and they don't have to, and this is purely a guess, and I think a logical one, and I'm not pointing this as a fault where some might. I personally, Kyle, do not think that when we're talking organizational, we're basically going to ownership, and that's what I don't think he wants to rebuild. And I don't think he wants to go through that, and that's okay. He's not unique to that. Majority of the owners do not want to do that. Majority do not.
Sure, definitely.
It might be the right answer to totally tear down. That also might be disaster.
Even the organizations that do, they listen to their basketball people when they say it's the right way to go. Right? When Danny Ainge comes in Utah, and Utah's made the playoffs 38 times in the last 40 years.
Like, we got to move Gobert. We got to move Mitchell. This is the best plan. Okay.
I trust you to make that decision, but
we're a couple years into it. I don't see this brightest future, but it doesn't mean it. I mean, I can see his path. I don't know that they're going to get there. I trust him, but I don't know that they're going to get there.
I would say they've had some misses. They've had some good decisions. Like, Markkanen was a throw-in piece in the Donovan Mitchell trade, and they built him into an all-star.
Yeah.
But
I also don't think he's like the anchor piece of the future for them. I think that the piece may not be there yet.
No, I would say it isn't.
Yeah.
And they've had 6 first-round picks over the last 2 years, and you still don't think
there's not like,
it's
wow,
there.
Johnny Juzang, right? It's like,
Also, I think that marketing contract's going to look really bad really soon. The fact that he hasn't even started a 4-year max yet is
and they've
tough.
sprinkled in Collins and Sexton, and you're like, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm guessing, I think they're in the lottery next year.
Yeah, and I think they're hoping that this pick this year
is Cooper Flag.
Oh, even if it's maybe Ace Bailey will be the next great player. Like, I think they're hoping whoever they get this year
is the one they go boom. Like, even Charlotte, like, I think right now they're saying it's LaMelo Ball, but do you think they're married to that?
It's 5 years in. At this point, they kind of had hoped that they would have made the playoffs at least once.
Yeah, and they now are, I think this year gets them, I know it's over halfway to the Kings mark.
I think they're at 10.
I think it is 10. You're right.
This year, I think, is 10.
Yeah, without making the postseason.
Their last time they made it was 2016, I want to say.
Okay. So it's 9 or 10.
15 or 16. Yeah. So, and the other interesting part with the LaMelo, I know on the Allen Stiles Show, we do a trade candidate a day, and we talked about LaMelo Ball, and it was like, the person making the decisions there is not the person who drafted LaMelo Ball now. So how does that change?
Right. How do they feel about him?
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, the owner is not even the same one who drafted LaMelo Ball anymore. So how committed are they to that vision that they had 3 years ago?
And I think the same thing can be said here, right? This was kind of built around a Fox, Sabonis, I would say Keegan, Monk group. Well, that's Vivek, but Monty as well. That's now no longer Monty, and Fox is gone. Sabonis is still here. Monk and Murray are, but Levine is the biggest piece, and or DeRozan that was brought in. I mean, I think almost everyone agrees one of those two, if not both. I just don't think they can bring those two back together.
I think probably not. And no one wants to go into the tank, but I've made this point is that next summer, their hand might get forced only because so many people are free agents. Sabonis will have 2 years left on his deal, which is kind of the point where you have to get together.
So many people league-wide or Kings?
The Kings, specifically. It's like Keegan can be a restricted free agent. Keon can be a free agent. Levine can opt out if he wants.
Yeah.
There's and
it's
then
hitting the fan then. Yeah.
Yeah. If it goes bad, it's like we kind of have to. Our hand might be forced on what we do, but that's the tough part of, believing in this. Sabonis, Levine, Keegan, and whatever else they bring in around the edges core.
Yeah, and what's so interesting, and this would be a GM question, but how far ahead do they look? Because you have to be aware of the future. But I say the future in the NBA is like next week because, Luka's a Laker. It's just like, Luka will be on the Mavs for 15 years, 20 years.
Yeah, and you can say this, but then if you get Cooper Flag, it's like, well, now the future is right now.
Cooper Flag, yeah. It's like everything we're doing is Cooper Flag. And it's like, and then what if Cooper Flag doesn't work out? Well, that was our plan. That's no longer, it's your plan until you're not your plan. And I'm sure Fox was the plan. He's no longer the plan. So it's very, very fluid, as they say. All right, we will break. When we come back, we're going to visit with Sean Cunningham, one of our favorites. Always love checking in with Sean. Talk a little bit about the A's and Yankees. We'll get some Kings conversation with Sean as well. He joins us next on Sacktown Sports.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back for another thrilling season at Monterey's iconic WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, May 9th through the 11th. Only in Monterey can you experience a high-octane mix of international drivers, cutting-edge prototypes, and GT sports cars racing wheel to wheel. There'll be gourmet food, wine, craft beers, family entertainment, and exclusive fan engagement with the drivers in the open race paddock. Buy your tickets now and experience world-class motorsports. Visit WeatherTechRaceway.com.
Are you thinking about buying a new car? Well, maybe you're on the fence. Let me help you out. Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the first time I stepped into the MP of Stockton showroom, I knew I made the right choice. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV. It's comfortable, stylish, and most importantly, it's safe. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. It's just a short drive down I-5 or anytime at MPFStockton.com.
Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. Try the TrackMan experience, the very best technology to fit your metal woods and irons. The new cutting-edge putter fitting studio with its $30,000 worth of technology is ready for your fitting. Hagen Oaks will help you find the best putter for your game. Hagen Oaks offers more technology, more choices, and more service. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531, 808-2531 for more.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9861. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9861. That's 800-575-9861. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is only a few weeks away with Bailey Zimmerman, Cole Wetzel, plus Billy Currington, Nate Smith, Ernest, and more. Friday and Saturday, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo. Dobis pop-up stores, food trucks, line dancing, and more. Country in the Park, celebrating 25 years, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Goldfield Trading Post, Java City, and Elemental Wine. Get tickets and more at CITPFest.com.
Louis C.K. in an all-new show, Ridiculous 2025 Tour.
When I was younger, you had to go in the bank. Remember that? You had to go inside the bank. Now you look in the bank, you're like, what are those people doing in there? Are they cleaning? The money's out here.
Friday and Saturday, June 13th and 14th, 8 p.m. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit thundervalleyresort.com. Louis C.K. live on stage.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
12:30, show rolling along. Jason Ross in for Allen Stiles. Allen is back on Monday. We're hanging out here, taking you till 2 o'clock. The drive guys will be Whitey Gleason and the high flyer and returner, but we're going to bring in a very special guest. It's a very special episode as we bring in KCRA's Sean Cunningham. He was Sports 1140 Sean Cunningham. He was...
Here's Sean Cunningham. Who? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Wow, what was that from?
That's
I don't know.
a podcast called No Dunks.
Oh, they were
that was
referencing
when
you that
Sean
way?
was reporting over the summer on some
I
of the
did
Rosen
see that.
news.
Well, they gave you love, Sean.
They did. Can I just say, your video setup? I apologize. This is an extreme close up.
You are super close. Is that you or is
There
that
we
us?
are. Ooh, that's so much better. Thank you, guys.
Well,
No need for that.
I'm on a little delay, so I'm waiting to see the second version. Oh yeah. There we go. We were
So
up close
much
and personal with you.
Whew. Yeah.
It was like I
needed,
said, I see you next. I wanted a hug. I basically got the video hug version right there.
Yeah, I needed like the Diane Sawyer soft lighting to help me there. That was no one should be that close. Good
Oh,
Lord.
my
Sorry,
goodness.
people in the chat.
How are you, Sean?
Fantastic. How are you guys?
Doing well. It's
You know-
Doug
you know what's
Christie's
so-
birthday.
You know what's so great? Oh, well, that must be why. I mean, Doug Christie's birthday brings out celebratory gatherings and just absolute vibes. But I was
Yes.
gonna say the weather. I know you don't. I know your counterpart Carmichael Dave hates this, but when it gets to the 90s, I get really happy. I like my mood is so dictated by what the sunshine is, like what the weather's like. When it's rainy and nasty out and windy and cold, like I get lethargic. I hate it. But when it's hot and all this, like this is my time to shine. I love
Yeah.
it.
We don't want sluggo Sean. We want happy, energetic Sean. What number, though, is uncomfortable when we start talking temperature?
For heat,
For
or
heat.
for cold?
For heat.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, anytime you're out in like the triple digits, or I don't mind it as long you can find ways to cool down. You can, it's not so bad. But
How about Vegas Summer League?
Yeah, that's pretty, especially when you're on the blacktop. Like that's
gosh.
suicide. What are you doing?
It is.
But there's so much of the air conditioning everywhere around. I mean, you can go out in little spurts and make it work. And especially at nighttime, I love it when it's hot at night. It's great.
Well, you're going to see some of that. I know. I know when I talked to you yesterday, the plan for you at least was going to Friday's A's Yankees game and Sundays. Did you confirm? Are you going to all three?
I believe I'll be at all three. Yeah, I think
Okay.
Saturday's a little bit up in the air. I want to actually be at Saturday because with the Yankees in town, I think that's the best pitching matchup I want to see. Got Carlos Rodon versus JP Sears.
Uh-huh.
I'm very, very intrigued by some of the pitching matchups. And it's like, seeing what the A's had to go through with the Yankees. With the Mariners, who at that time was like the best team in baseball, and having these late leads. I mean, that was some. You were there. That was just some incredible, dramatic baseball, and probably the best baseball we've seen the A's play at Sutter Health Park. And just from an entertainment standpoint, in my mind, I mean, I know there's been some walk-offs, and the story of Jacob Wilson and all these things have been really, really great. But to go from that and then right into a day off that hadn't, I think they had like 14 straight days, 15 straight days of playing before they get a day off, and they can go right on into a Yankees series, who's also, among the top in baseball, and that place is going to be absolutely packed. I think it's going to be finally like I know we had opening night, but I feel like this is going to be a weekend series with so many people out there, so many storylines, and Aaron Judge coming back to Sacramento. I think I have to be there for all three. I was thinking of going down to the Raiders on Saturday, but I think I got to be there for all three.
You're making the right choice. As we're talking with Sean Cunningham from KCRA Channel 3. Sean, the last three losses, you kind of alluded to a couple of those from the Mariners, and then the one before that was in against the Marlins, actually, where Mason Miller rarely, he got blown up in that one. But it's kind of been a bullpen thing here. I think the A's have some holes here, but is that an issue overall, or is that just kind of just baseball right now? That's a 3-game pocket here.
I think it's a little bit of both because especially for them, I mean, their bullpen has been so worked. I mean, they've had so many games where they've had to go deep into it. You know, they finally give Mason Miller a day off, and then Tyler Ferguson has to give it up in the ninth. And I think that was his like fourth or fifth straight appearance in a game. He wanted the ball. He tells Kotze, I want to go out there, and Kotze, he's going to favor the player in that situation. And it didn't work out in the ninth inning of all things, and he's going out for a close situation, and it just didn't work. And so, it's baseball at the end of the day. But I mean, just this is I do have concerns about the bullpen, but I also think that they've had some really great performances. I mean, Ferguson's been really good. Mason Miller's obviously an all-star closer. These guys have come in and really done a nice job of being able to kind of turn their fortunes around. Because I mean, he had like an early season kind of stumble. Some of the stuff at home had been a little gnarly. They give up so many home runs, but they really kind of found a groove there. And here they are among the top. And I think the Mariners and the A's are just going to be staring at each other really. Maybe within 5 games of each other, one way or the other. I think they're 2 right now. I mean, it's so early to look at the standings, but I just think the Mariners and the A's are just going to be staring at each other atop the division.
So I want to go back to, if you can try to remember how you felt or what you thought it would be like for this team coming here. It was a little controversial. They're now here. We know it, whether it's 3-4 years, 1 year, I mean, who knows, or permanently. There's so many options. But what did you think it was going to be like covering this team, being at games versus what it is? And is it any different?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, having a taste of Major League Baseball, a lot of Giant stuff in the dynasty years, and covering a lot of that when I was over at a different station, and then obviously covering a lot of A's stuff when they'd go into the postseason, you kind of get an idea of what it's like at a big league level. But for all the efforts that have gone into it, it still does. I mean, they've done a really. I think they get dragged through by a lot of people in terms of the what's gone into this ballpark, and you have to remind yourself, like, under a year to get this ballpark ready. I think they've done a nice job. It is a AAA ballpark, but it still has a AAA feel, even though you've got big leaguers out there. And yeah, it has been different. And I think a lot of it has to do with the crowd. I think a lot of it, selfishly has had to do with the weather. I mean, we've had some really frigid games out there, but from just the logistical day in, day out, it hasn't been bad. It hasn't been, too terrible. It still feels like you're covering professional sports to a degree, even though, yes, the ballpark isn't a double decker, the wind is carrying out there. You see the ball leaving the yard really easily. You don't hear a lot of players really complaining about it. Like, they've kind of accepted it. It's interesting to hear some of the visiting players talk about it, though. I mean, I know that those reactions have been all over the place, but the amusing thing to me is hearing visiting players come in here and, like, while you will have some negative comments because it's not what they're used to per se, the thing that's been fun for me is, like, you almost hear them talk about, I don't have a home run in Sacramento. I got to get a home run in Sacramento. Like, just those type of things, or getting a win in Sacramento, or, just playing, just checking the box, almost like a fan, as if, like, you want to go to every Major League Baseball stadium. It's like they're kind of in that as well. So I think that's been fun. But from a media standpoint, like, I think the access has been great. I think getting to know some of these players has been great, and it's tough coming. Obviously the NBA is the bread and butter that we cover, but having baseball in town is a lot of fun. I think the crowds have been great. I think there's circumstances for a lot of that. I think a lot of the empty seats you see are a lot of people who bought high and try to sell high, and I think the market will kind of figure itself out. And I think you're going to see some incredible crowds here. I think you're going to see a lot of Yankee fans, but I think it should be a lot of fun. And I think as the season goes on, it'll kind of even out.
Yeah, I think the other thing to remember, and I don't blame people for thinking this. I probably was in that camp too when the word was official, like they're coming to Sacramento. Well, this was an A's team last year that was really bad. I mean, they had a really bad stretch, and, like, people were like, why do we want this team coming here? They're going to be awful. Well, now we're seeing a team that has the look of a team that could maybe win the division or get a wild card spot. Has a lot of good young players. They really can hit. I am pleasantly surprised, Sean, now watching them on a day-to-day basis, kind of how good of a team they have.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's so young, and you only have like really less than 5 players signed beyond this season. So that's one of the things that's just, boy, the economics of baseball, especially with the A's, it is what it is, right? But this is a team you can get behind, and they're having guys called up. I mean, Nick Kurtz, their top prospect. And yeah, he hasn't gone deep yet. He's still in search of his first home run, but he was absolutely lighting up AAA in Vegas. And then here he is, comes up here. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of an adjustment, but he's still getting hits. Like, he's still coming up with some timely hits. I think they're gonna be patient with him. And then you got Gunnar Hoglund, another arm to put right into the starting rotation, and he comes out and I think has 2 brilliant outings. I know the last one was a no decision here against the Mariners, and but I think there's a lot of positive signs there. But yeah, you look at what Jacob Wilson is doing. It's a lot of fun, and these are all 3 rookies you don't really see production like that from other teams, and if you do, they're typically not atop the division or near the top of the division. So that part's been fun. And I know you were talking about the media thing. I feel like I just have to say it too, because like there's a lot of attention on that shed that they built that we do, and I chuckle because I think of SNL and Will Ferrell every time I reference the shed. But we're interviewing Mark Kotze, and you can hear motorcycles go by, and you can hear, maybe some sirens, whatever. You can certainly hear cars outside. It's unique. I mean, it's definitely unique to Sacramento. But I will remind people, like, for as interesting and unique as that is to Sacramento, like the Coliseum, man, I feel like people who are chipping away, oh, why could you do this in a shed, blah, 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 blah. Like, at the Coliseum, he was in like a broom closet.
Right.
And so the shed actually holds more people. They've got, like it's just not the same. Certainly the clubhouse, once the Raiders had moved at the Coliseum, the A's moved into the old Raiders locker room. And so their clubhouse is much, much bigger than what they had when they shared the Coliseum. So I might give the nod to the Coliseum in that regard in terms of space, but the clubhouse has been good. The amenities have been fine. It's still a work in progress. There's a lot to be done there, but I like what I've seen.
If this team can make the postseason in whatever version, if that's a wild card or if that's a winning the division, I know that it's kind of been stated early on from the league, and there's been so much reporting and maybe misreporting or just kind of ambiguous reporting about this, but like threats that they wouldn't play in Sacramento. I don't even know what's going to happen there. Do you have any read on that if they were to get to the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think in my mind, I think there's some open consideration that's being had for if it's a wild card, possibly a division series. I think a wild card is the one that gets most consideration for remaining in Sacramento, but the facility can't hold that type of crowd. I mean, even logistically.
Are they worried more crowd or media?
Well, no, it's the crowd being from a like the league. You've got the broadcast. You have so many TV trucks that have to come in. They've got if you're driving down the street outside the ballpark in West Sacramento and you just look across the street, there's a major tent there, and that tent has 2 TV trucks out there, and that's basically where your broadcast is being run out of. So yeah, I mean, reminding everybody it's still a minor league facility, and some of those league events will require more amenities than what this ballpark can currently offer. So it makes sense. It's just a unique situation. I think it kind of sucks, but it makes sense because you don't have a quick fix. You can't use a lot of the quick fix things for something of that scale and magnitude. I mean, obviously it's been well documented that first game here in Sacramento, broadcast going off the air, both on radio. Right. I mean, there was some growing pains, internet not being strong. I mean, there was some, that's opening night jitters, right? Well, you can't have, and a lot of those have been corrected, but then you bring in all that other bandwidth and things like that nature of a major event, and it could really limit the resources that they have at Sutter Health Park. So yeah, I think there might be some consideration for something early, but certainly if it gets to an NLC, a championship series,
right,
even a World Series, there's no chance that would stay in Sacramento.
Talking with Sean Cunningham from KCRA. Sean, if you're looking ahead, then if this season keeps going as it is, where the A's have done a nice job, gotten over 500 and battling, like you said, you can see them going eye to eye here with Seattle. Do you think they become active like at the trade deadline? This is a team that's kind of been on the other side, penny pinching and so forth. Now they've spent some money to get above the floor before, and then getting Severino and other guys. But do you think they become a team that's a little more aggressive in trying to boost their roster?
I think that remains to be seen, because we've seen things from this A's group that we haven't seen before. Them spending money in the offseason. I mean, you've got the extension to Butler and Rooker and bringing in an arm like Severino, a big name, big contract. So how do you, I think you have to, I think you're kind of pot committed at that point. You would need to certainly do your due diligence and find something that could be a game changer, especially if you're competitive or you're within 5 of the top of the division. I just think you have to. Now, I don't think that matters whether you're playing in Oakland or Sacramento. I think to me, that shouldn't matter how you approach making strides for your baseball team. That's easy for me to say, being a lifelong Giants fan, always expecting that from my team, and A's fans, they certainly know that this team doesn't spend money like some of the big teams do. So they've shown a knack for it in the offseason. If they can, carry that momentum, I would expect it, and I would certainly hope that they would do it. But I think that just remains to be seen. And I think they'll say all the right things that, we'll do our due diligence and we'll do all these things. It's up to David Forst and his group. But in my mind, it's the expectation, and I would certainly hope that they would. I just don't have an answer.
Well, you'd be a good one for this one, just kind of the historical perspective of sports in Sacramento. You and I have both been around a long time. You've covered so many things. And it feels to me like with the Yankees coming in, that's just a banner franchise for baseball. And Aaron Judge is having a historically, the last 162 games has just been incredible. So kind of stars coming to Sacramento, Sean, we were talking about this earlier, and whether it was the early days of Arco and Larry Bird and Magic and Dr. J and Jordan to LeBron to Kobe, Shaq, track and field, Michael Johnson coming through in the Olympic trials. You've been at boxing, MMA. Like this, Aaron Judge coming in, doesn't it fall in line with kind of just over the years of big time figures coming to Sacramento?
100%, because, and it might even be, I mean, you could argue it's up there in the top 3 because, you think about when the Kings came to town, the NBA hadn't been in Sacramento before. So the first time Larry Bird, first time Magic Johnson, first time Michael Jordan, that was the first time. Major League Baseball hadn't been here. You've had AAA, so it's always a big time when you've got, the likes of Matt Cain doing a rehab assignment, Manny Ramirez being here for like 2 months. I mean, that was insane. So seeing things like that, because you have the AAA, like that was cool, and those might be some of the biggest names. But you're talking about the first time Major League Baseball is here in Sacramento, West Sacramento. You've got the arguably next to Ohtani, the biggest star in the sport, and Ohtani won't be here this year because the Dodgers don't come through, but the Yankees do. And Aaron Judge, who is right there as the number 2 face of the league, in my opinion. Not only is he from Sacramento, grows up in Linden, played high school in Linden, with the Lions. To me, that's just, I think it's got to be a top 3 because it's the first time it's happened, and you're getting somebody who's the face of a league in their prime. Next year, I think you will have Ohtani here as the Dodgers come through. So maybe it eclipses that, but absolutely. I mean, because it's the inaugural year, you can see something like that. I think it's going to be a top 3 moment. There might be some, if I think about it a little bit longer, there might be some things in the fighting world that stand out a bit,
Sure.
But obviously LeBron had his first game here, but NBA basketball had been here for such a long time when that happened. And there was a lot of hype surrounding that, but he wasn't the face of the league yet. So right. I think this qualifies.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And speaking of I do want to transition here briefly, a few more minutes with Sean about the Kings. Off-season has started. We do know what's confirmed is Scott Perry's in. BJ Armstrong will be an assistant with him. Doug Christie officially becoming the head coach. Few other additions to his coaching staff. Just your observations of kind of where we are now with this Kings team and really what the work that group has left to do this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with the front office. It's interesting to see how Scott Perry approaches it and keeps some institutional knowledge around there. Obviously, we've seen the likes of Phil Jabor and Paul Johnson, some people who are more behind the scenes, but certainly in the front office and in the think tank that is a holdover from the previous regime of Monty McNair. And seeing how he changes it. I mean, shoot, you remember, Jay, we've had, when I think Scott Perry was here, even before that, when Vlade Divac, during that time, you'd end up having 3 assistant general managers at one time. So having somebody like BJ Armstrong, it's going to be interesting to see who they put around him. Will they add more to that position? Will they just, what does the brain trust look like? And then obviously to me, the Doug and Doug Christie and his staff and what they do is a whole nother discussion, but it does tend to blend together. Certainly Doug having the support of a new regime as well as ownership and his players, I think is good. Now let him go out there and get the pieces he wants. I think the Mike Woodson hiring obviously certainly brings the head coaching experience for a coach that isn't all that experienced in terms of a coaching standpoint. So that certainly makes sense. I'll be interested to see if they add another piece of head coaching experience to that, or if they just remain with Mike Woodson. And I'm talking about at the NBA level. And then certainly, you've got, I've reported earlier. I mean, obviously Bobby Jackson is somebody I've been told is going to be on this staff. I know there's some people who have pushed back on that a little bit, but at the end of the day, if Doug Christie puts the type of staff that he wants together, even Darius Sangaila, who we've heard about, a former teammate of his as well, that one to me seems to be more of a person of interest. But I have confidence in the fact that he's going to be able to put primarily the pieces he wants. And I think he's really going to lean on Scott Perry, BJ Armstrong, those relationships throughout the league to really cultivate a staff of his own and be able to attack this the right way. And certainly, every person comes with a price tag. I mean, famously, there's been coaches who've wanted to bring in pieces to their coaching staff and have been told no based on the price tag of those said players, those said coaches. So there are little hurdles in the way, but I feel like Doug is primarily going to get the type of staff that he wants. And I'm just really interested to see how really Scott Perry fills up this front office, because I don't think either way, to me, it wouldn't surprise anybody. He comes in here, I was like, I'm going to clean house. I'm going to bring in my own people, and here it is. And certainly, I've been in the building once since the season, or since the press conference of Doug Christie with Scott Perry for a pre-draft workout. That's things that hadn't happened under Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox. They didn't open those up, so those are now opened up. We're able to see them. See a portion of them. We're not able to show you guys, but we're able to even talk to these people. And you're looking around the gym, and there's a lot of new faces around there. So getting to learn all those new faces, interacting with some of the old pieces as well, and seeing if some of those old pieces remain after the draft will be really interesting as they go into the summer.
Yeah, a lot of work ahead for that front office group, that's for sure. Well, Sean, we always appreciate catching up with you. I know we will do that more often here, and certainly look forward to seeing some A's and Yankees baseball this weekend. Enjoy that out there, and then enjoy your weekend.
I will. You too, Jay. You stay out of the sun, okay? I'm
going to try. And if so,
your little perch,
sunscreen.
You've got some shade. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm protected. Yeah. Well, enjoy yourself. Thanks again, Sean. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it, buddy. Thanks.
All right, that is Sean Cunningham from KCRA. We really appreciate him, and he's got really good knowledge of what's going on out there, and it's certainly a historical perspective too for Sacramento and sports. But to have the A's and Yankees, and I just feel for the A's if they in fact had that kind of dream season and had to play some postseason games elsewhere. That just seems really, really bizarre. But as Kyle said it earlier, it's just weird. Baseball's weird, and the A's season is weird. That's what it's been. But I've embraced the weird. All right, when we come back, we are going to have a chance to hear from Sam Amick. Every week on our show in the morning, we get a chance to check in with Sam. It was moved to today. Dave talked to him. They always have a lot of stuff to cover from the games last night, some Kings news. So you're going to hear that conversation with Dave and Sam Amick when we come back right here on Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports injury update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Right-handed pitcher JT Ginn, out with that right elbow inflammation, started a throwing program last week, and his expected return is TBD. Zach Geloff, still out with that fractured right hand, began a rehab assignment with AAA Las Vegas last week, leading off at designated hitter and going 0 for 2 with the walk. His expected return is early May. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Allen Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. 888-866-8822 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Sacramento, get ready. The Sacktown Sports Live events calendar is packed with epic shows you won't want to miss. Classic rock bands, America takes the stage at Hard Rock Live Sacramento on May 9th. Then hip-hop legend LL Cool J brings the beats to Thunder Valley on May 10th. The Outlaw Music Festival rolls into Toyota Amphitheater on May 18th. And punk pioneers The Dam hit Ace of Spades on May 31st. June heats up with JJ Gray and Mofro at Ace of Spades on June 10th. Plus, country superstars Lee Brice and Walker Hayes at Ironstone Amphitheater on June 21st. Then it's 3 days of country fun at the Country Summer Music Festival at Sonoma County Fairgrounds on June 27th through the 29th. Get your boots ready for the Folsom Pearl Rodeo July 3rd through 5th. Then catch Cody Johnson at Golden One Center on July 18th and Parker McCollum at Ironstone Amphitheater on August 16th. Mark your calendars, grab your tickets, and don't miss out. Find all the details at sacktownsports.com.
Maida Chevy sends you $8,000 off MSRP on new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT and RST after rebates.
Year-end savings on now with $8,000 off new Silverados at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Are you a chronic interrupter? Incapable of letting other people talk? Do those people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should go to Mattress Firm. They have a 120-night sleep trial, so you can get your money back if a bed's not right. That way, anyone, even someone like you, can sleep. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
Full details and disclaimers.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively the Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
At SMUD, we power local business with incentives on clean energy equipment, tools to manage electricity usage and save money, tailored solutions from dedicated strategic account advisors, and 50% lower rates than neighboring utilities, all while doing more for the planet with clean energy solutions, savings, reliability, personalized service, clean energy, helping local businesses thrive. That's our clean power promise. Learn more at smud.org.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Special edition of the Sam Amick Show brought to you by Jiffy Lube. And camera comes on. Sam's just chilling. Yeah, Sam, you're looking like I'm about to look in about an hour. Good morning.
At least I didn't have the Homer Simpson hand in the pants. Man, this 9 a.m. slot, Dave. I know we love our 8 a.m. slot. This is you gave me a little taste of it. This is I was early. I was on time.
Yeah.
On camera. I love that you go inside baseball on a text message that I sent to you that, again, you did not respond to.
So
2 texts, and for the listening audience, it's funny. I'm going to shout out. It's been a while. Neighbor John, who I was just texting with, I think we're going to lunch today. John likes to give me a hard time. Like, are you and Dave really friends? Because he never actually shows up on the block.
That's true.
So there's that.
That's
and now what I will add to it is I don't know if we are really friends because I can't even get a response to a text message. But yes, I have been advised that let's stop talking Kings. Let's talk about everybody else.
I don't. The first text I didn't respond to during the week. That was the first text I didn't respond to during the week. That was when you were asking if we could push things back. You texted me Wednesday at 7:07, and then I think I got back. Oh no, I'm sorry. I apologize. You texted me Tuesday at 11:22, asking if we could do Friday. I followed up with you Wednesday at 7:03, saying, "My bad, dude. That's cool." Then yesterday. I won't read the text, but you sent me a text. I won't read the text. You sent me a text at 2:52. Now, here's the thing. Tuesday, 11:22. Then the follow-up was at 2:52. This is the God's honest truth. The worst times to text me are between 11 and 3 during the week because that is nap area.
Sleepy time.
That is sleepy time. So what happens is I wake up. Now I don't sleep the all 4 hours, but sometimes I take a nap. Right, get to sleep at 11:30. Sometimes I can't get to sleep until 2. But I try to take a nap. I wake up. Tons of texts. I get distracted. It's my fault. I think we should do the whole interview about. We should do the whole interview about this. That way we won't get aggregated. Today's Doug Christie's birthday. And he turns 55. Yep, double nickel, Jason Williams. And We were talking earlier today about what to get Doug for his birthday, if you could, from a basketball standpoint. He, of course, has Mike Woodson. He has Scott Perry. He has B.J. Armstrong. And names rumored amongst others, Bobby Jackson, Darius Sangaila, a few others. Nothing's been done yet as far as I know, unless you have different information. But it is as we talk about the Kings, is there a legit concern that, Doug will get the staff he wants and needs, whether that's X and O veteran guys, perhaps like Mike Woodson, and any color you can give us on Mike's background, Mike's head coaching, him coming in, any of that would be appreciated as well. But is that really the thing now, is getting Doug the coaching staff he not only wants but needs?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Woodson, with Woody, you had, a veteran voice. He's been out of the league for a bit. Was it Indiana? I don't have clarity on the different relationship connective tissue there. But, that's a guy who's a longtime head coach and who's the old head on the staff. And that's typically some version of that is the formula when you have a more inexperienced head coach like Doug. The BJ Armstrong edition is fascinating. I know BJ fairly well from his agent days, and storied member of those Bulls championship teams, and a guy who's been pretty prominent in the media space, pretty vocal about the league itself, even recently, kind of weighing in on the way the game is played. And it's funny because he and Scott have this in common, where for better or worse, you have, recent stuff in the public domain where you can learn about how they see the game and how they see different players. And, BJ's done long podcast interviews. So, pretty front-facing guy, smart guy, and interesting hire there. The rest of the staff, the Bobby rumors, I haven't looked into that stuff in several days, in full transparency. I looked into the Bobby thing 4 or 5 days ago, and essentially it was like you said, like not done, but we'll see if that happens. But yeah, they're building it out, and you are breaking our rule of not talking Kings. You just went right down this road.
I said bashing. We're not bad. We're just talking. And when it comes to somebody, that was fascinating. You had the Scott Perry thing, and you mentioned his podcast, and that was his comments on Zach LaVine. You had B.J. Armstrong, who I thought was a little bit off in his assessment of Keegan Murray, but that's an opinion. But I loved his assessment of the team. It echoed what we've been saying since the beginning of the year, that it's like a fantasy basketball team. There's a lot of talent on it, but it's just a complete mishmash that doesn't seem to fit together. But I want to ask you, because this is you're far more of an insider than I am, and this is a part of the game you have a ton more insight than I do. I saw a couple conversations amongst fans on different sites and things where when B.J. Armstrong was hired as the assistant GM, being a former agent, they looked at his client list. And, no disrespect to any of his clients, but just not incredibly impressive. You're not talking about a list of all-stars. Is it short-sighted when I understand where they're coming from? They want to, somebody in the front office that has tons of connections to tons of great players. I understand the thought process, but is it a lot deeper than just, hey, who was on this guy's agent roster and how good were they?
Hey, did you know that SMUD is now paying Sacramento homeowners thousands of dollars upfront to put a backup battery system in their home?
I would probably say both sides of that. There's, it's fair to say if who's a good example? Like when Leon Rose got hired by the Knicks, you were confident that you were kind of opening the door to the entire CAA client list. You know what I mean? He was the top of CAA when he made that move. So somewhat fair, I think, to look at the client list, but then also BJ's been doing it for 20 plus years. It's funny, Draymond's in the news today. BJ was Draymond's first agent. And so, that's a natural part of the business where you have some guys and then they go another direction. He's a guy who's been a prominent agent at Wasserman for a very long time. And that's a power agency in a place that even if his, certain guys weren't on his individual personal list, you're part of that group and you're part of the team. So, I get it. Relationship wise though, it's a lifetime in the league and he has stayed close to people around the league. Can't pretend to know his Rolodex in intimate detail, but he is not somebody who just disappeared for 20 years after his playing career and is coming back. He's been in this for a minute.
So let me go off the beaten path and feel free to pull me back on. So, when you look at BJ Armstrong's client list, he had Derrick Rose, Bismack Biyombo, Larry Drew, Isaiah Collier, Josh Jackson, Pooh Jeter, former King, etc. Not names, with the exception of Rose, and this was later in his career, I believe. Doesn't jump out, but you mentioned, and rightfully so, that BJ was part of the Wasserman Agency, which is a power agency in the NBA. Also, I believe, is the agency that represents Domantas Sabonis. So, okay, so rather than look at his client list, is it also fair, at least on the positive side? So we're doing positive Kings talk right now. On the positive side, that is it fair to say, okay, BJ Armstrong may not have, Durant, LeBron, and whoever as his clients, but I would imagine equally as important as a relationship with the players, the relationship with the agency and with the agents themselves. So when you're maneuvering back and forth as a member of the front office, that you're calling the agents directly instead of, hey, Bill, it's BJ, nice to meet you. It's, hey, Bill, let's go have drinks at, your sister's house this weekend. And by the way, I need to talk to you about this guy. I'm dramatizing, but is that far off from reality?
No. I think that's important. I mean, first of all, as a baseline commentary, and I'm not trying to disparage the position at all, but he's an assistant GM. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you're gonna like have this level of scrutiny and critique for BJ getting this job, then let's pull out the list of all the assistant GMs in the league and see if fans have anything to say about all those different guys who are mostly anonymous when it comes to the league at large. The agent thing you're hitting on is fair and accurate, and it, I think, probably fits in nicely with, as you remember when Scott Perry had that 3-month run with the Kings before, his ability to, at that time, to connect with agents relating to the draft was one of the wins of his tenure, because the Kings, reputation at that point was so bad that you had prominent draft picks or guys that were projected to be lottery picks, not wanting to work out for Sacramento, kind of, treating them as a place that they were not going to prioritize. Scott had gotten some of that to improve. And I think BJ has the ability as well, relationship wise, to connect with these agents that he's obviously known for a long time.
Sam Amick joining us. It's interesting when you look at that whole thing and what's to come as well this summer, how it's all set up. Now we move on to Wolves Warriors last night.
That was a great positive segment. Good job.
I thought it was. That was very, very, very positive. Moving on to the Warriors Wolves, but that upset that there's an agenda portraying him as an angry black man. Now, Sam, you say and do what you want. I said very early on, and all the times I've covered this, I said, look, I'm not touching the color part of that. I just think it's silly for a guy that looks like me to try to say yay or nay on what somebody who's walked in shoes that I've never walked in can and can't deal with. But to the other part of it, the angry man part of it, golly, it sure seems like Draymond has cultivated that image, that it is deserved. And fans, myself included, feel like Draymond Green is given more leeway with referees than anybody else in the league. From a national standpoint, from a non-biased standpoint, do you think that's an accurate statement?
We're Phoenix Energy, a family-owned oil company focused on unleashing American oil from North Dakota.
You had cut out
fans feel like Draymond Green has more leeway than anyone else in the league when it comes to addressing the referees. Now, is that just Kings fan biased opinion, or do you think that's a fairly shared opinion nationally?
I think it's kind of ebbed and flowed. I mean, years ago, there was a stretch where it did seem like, because of his reputation, if he breathed wrong, it was another tech. Lately, I think it's gone the other way. I forget which game it was not too long ago when the officiating crew, did a fascinating job of like whistle gymnastics, if that makes sense. To
flagrant versus technical.
Not throwing him out.
Yeah, that was rockets.
I actually ran into a ref recently that I had a fascinating discussion with, we will call it on background because no names attached, but about dealing with Draymond. And I thought it was really interesting because the first thing they highlighted is how smart he is. And but obviously he's fiery as well. The one thing, if you didn't include this context, that you got to make sure you share on this particular situation is that I don't know all the details, but there is the accusation that he was called a racial slur by the crowd. And there's a video of him on the exercise bike trying to stay warm during the game. And the logistics they're just unfortunate because the bike is like 6 inches from the crowd. And there is a viral tweet going around that he was called something that is going to, A, is completely unacceptable and unfortunate, and B, is going to play a part in the message he chose to share after the game. So I don't know that this is just a basketball discussion. It seems like it's not. So to focus on the basketball, he's back in that bad habit of even when the foul is on the other guy, he is like spazzing out. You know what I mean? And that part he can't really argue with. Like, the other night, the details are escaping me, but it's like you get fouled, but then it's the extra of flailing the arm. He had a leg flail, recently that was very similar to when he kicked Steven Adams in the crotch years ago. So I think on-court stuff, I mean, my goodness, even he is the one when, they won Game 7 against Houston, who I thought it was fantastic. I was there, and he just kind of bared his soul talking about Steve Kerr, getting across to him the importance of him keeping his cool and how important he was to the team and all that stuff. So he has been really open about, self-monitoring all this stuff. But I think the fan component is why it put him in a dark place, understandably, last night.
Here's that quote after the Rockets game.
I pouted way too much last game. So I spent the last 2 days embarrassed. Just what I gave to the game, what I gave to the world, I was embarrassed. So I've been dying since the last game ended to get out on the floor and prove who I am. One thing about this league, you're never done proving who you are until you're done.
So I assume that's what you're referring to. That's yeah. So
and just a little more context real quick. That morning at shoot around, and I was there, Steve Kerr and Draymond were having a conversation, and I'm looking at it from 50 feet away, and I'm literally telling a fellow media member, man, look at how engaged Draymond is. He was just staring into Steve's eyes, listening to every word that came out of his mouth. So they really, and we learned later, they had connected on a pretty deep level about that topic. So, it's unfortunate to go from that moment of self-understanding and positivity to what happened last night.
Sam Amick joining us from The Athletic. It's very interesting to go even deeper into that too, because there is the basketball side, and I think he's cultivated that. I think he's a borderline, if not completely dirty player at times, and has cultivated that image. He's also the image on the court. He's also won multiple championships. He's part of the glue that holds that dynasty together. He's an incredibly intelligent player. But then there's the other side, like you alluded to, the possible slur being dropped from the fan base while he was on the bike. The things on social media and God knows where else.
Rejected, by the way.
Oh, thank God, and should not be let back in. And it's interesting because you're going to have people hear that and say, "Dude, that's like 4 people. What are you talking about?" or whatever. And I will never know what it's like to be called a racial slur. Neither will you. But I'm just trying to think of something, certainly not comparable, but that would trigger me. If somebody said something about my kids, I would be instantly triggered. And it doesn't matter if it's 5 people or if it's 5,000 people. It's below the belt. There's no room for it. And we don't see. It's an interesting position. I know a lot of people, including myself, want to not stand in front of Draymond Green because of our basketball feelings. But from a human point of view, a lot of times, and you've heard stories about this, Sam, far more than I, but I've heard stories about the things that they see, the things they deal with, the things that we don't know about that get put in front of them, whether it's live or whether it's on the internet or sent to their house or yelled at them from a car. And
So if you've purchased a faulty car in California and won a huge check like I've got here, here's what.
Talk about it, and after they're sensitive, or you get paid millions of dollars to play a kid's game, what are you doing? If they don't, who can blame these people as human beings for seething on it and having it come out at different moments? So it is a very interesting other side you do bring up to that. And as I said, it'd be silly for me to opine against what he's saying because I haven't walked in his shoes, but it's certainly a lot deeper than basketball on the floor, obviously.
No, I mean, that's all well said. I mean, I'll add a little bit of a macro backdrop, and this is a pet peeve of mine in these playoffs. I'm going to come off like I'm, 77, not 47. But I'm really tired of hearing the fans yell "F-U" insert name here.
Yeah. And
it's the only part of the playoffs that I've just not enjoyed. I'm not G-rated, but like that stuff and that energy sucks, and it's funny when I was in OKC, credit, not to go down this road, like the Bible Belt or whatever you want to call it. I was like, at least like that crowd they're literally chanting free throw merchant at Nikola Jokic, which I thought was hilarious. Like, yeah, let's do more of that.
Yes.
But if you're Draymond, and now as time has marched on, you have this reputation, but now you also have like not only kids, but you have kids that are old enough to hear all this stuff. Like the guy's got a family where, the part of me that does empathize as a dad is like, even though he's part of it, like, damn, like if 18,000 people were chanting "F-U Sam," like that's part of the energy that he receives all the time. And then just generally speaking, and maybe some of it deserved, but I don't think on that, level. These playoff games, Dave, like, I forgot how intense they are. And I mean, like, so I sat in OKC. It was so much fun. I got a good seat. Media a lot of times. Sometimes it's the top of the lower concourse. Sometimes it's in the corner. OKC has a handful of seats that if you get lucky, and I wrote about this, like you can sit literally like the old days in Sacramento, courtside.
Yeah.
And so as much fun as it was to watch the game from that space, it was also this reminder of the incredible intensity. So if the other night it was positive. It was just a basketball game and I enjoyed it. But I've had times in the past, not to make it about me, like I got into it with a fan one time, probably a decade ago, where I was on deadline trying to do my thing. This person figured out that I was based somewhat in the Bay, and they basically started yelling at me like I was a Warriors fan.
Wow.
And like literally now we're like nose to nose courtside where like this happened. And the intensity is the thing that sticks with me because these players are trying to do their jobs. And then obviously at different times getting triggered by inappropriate things that are getting thrown their way.
I think there's a billion ways to get at a player, especially we got to sign off here, but we had one of our listeners that was chanting at Draymond Green at the play-in game last year. He was chanting repeatedly turkey sausage at Draymond Green. And the thought behind that when we asked him was that Draymond orders a breakfast sandwich usually 3-4 times a week from a little takeaway place in the Bay. And this guy happened to know the takeaway place. And the lady that makes the sandwiches there said Draymond would call an order and then he'd be late to pick them up. So he would always take away these cold turkey sausage sandwiches. And so this guy was chanting turkey sausage and getting to Draymond because who the hell is going to know that type of reference? I'm here for that. I'm here for chanting turkey sausage at Draymond Green when nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. But when you start saying F you or, your kids or your family or God forbid something racial or that's
where you're getting clever. You know what I came up with? I think if you pick your least favorite player, find out what shows they're binging. And then scream like spoiler alerts during the game.
He was alive. He was dead the whole time.
We might have to do that for the first Warriors game.
That's awesome. Good job, Sam.
Get more clever people.
Look, what a wonderful, insightful, depth-filled. Right. Appreciate you, brother. Have a great weekend. I'll do better on the text line, and we'll talk to you soon.
The text line. That's all I got. I'm part of the text line.
Our text line now, our personal text line. Say hi to the family.
Indeed. All right.
Take care.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. There it is. Sam Amick, his weekly conversation with us in the morning today. It was with Dave. I'm here with filling in for Allen, and we still have 30 minutes or so remaining in the show. Plenty more for us to get to. I know Whitey will be coming in. The High Flyers in this afternoon. We're going to have a little crosstalk with them as lots going on this weekend, including more playoff basketball. Let's get back into that and the A's and the Yankees. It's a good sports weekend ahead, and we also, let's reminder, a little shout out to moms out there, right? Shout out moms out there, the mothers in your life, the mother figures, whoever that might be, and if you're still blessed to have your mother around, call your mom this weekend, right? Or hopefully you're spending some time with your loved ones and your mom. Congrats to all of you out there, and you deserve this day on Sunday. All right, we'll take the break. Come back. More to go right here on Sacktown Sports.
There are so many benefits of working with the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento. Now, we chose them to get our new garage doors, and we're so thrilled that we did. They look absolutely amazing. Jason Ross here. And for us, well, we just flat out needed new garage doors. But maybe you do as well, or maybe it's just repairs to your existing doors. Well, the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento can help you with that. It is also a great time of year because this is when homes go on the market. So is yours ready? Well, one thing, don't forget about that garage door, because a new garage door can increase the value of your home. First off, with curb appeal, a new modern or stylish garage door can improve the overall appearance of your house. Also, the return on investment. It is one of the most cost-effective upgrades to increase your home value. You can see for yourself. Just visit the showroom off Franklin Boulevard and ask about the Sacktown Sports Special. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And if you love animals, you're part of our world. Humane World for Animals. The end of animal cruelty.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is only a few weeks away with Bailey Zimmerman. Cole Wetzel. Plus Billy Currington, Nate Smith, Ernest, and more. Friday and Saturday, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo. Don't miss pop-up stores, food trucks, line dancing, and more. Country in the Park, celebrating 25 years, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Goldfield Trading Post, Java City, and Elemental Wine. Get tickets and more at CITPFest.com.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy. As a native Sacramentan, I can tell you, not that you need to know, that it might be nice right now, but turn the corner. Oh my God, it's so hot. Yeah, summer is coming. And my friends at American Energy want to make sure you are dialed with your AC unit. So how about this half off tune-up right now? It's a special going on, just $24.50 to get your air conditioner tuned up. A free diagnostic. And oh, by the way, if you need a new AC unit, up to $3,500 in rebates on qualifying system installations. That's right. They've been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Give them a call, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Here's the song.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Memorial Day savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,500 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado Turbo Max in stock. And Maida Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections of new Silverado in the Sacramento area. $12,500 off new Silverado. Exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big. Huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Price turning 2011. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
We're excited to be here for the next 3 years, playing this beautiful ballpark, but also being able to watch some of the greatest players in baseball, whether they be athletics players or Aaron Judge and others, launch home runs out of this very intimate, the most intimate ballpark in all of Major League Baseball.
Another one of John Fisher's finest hours.
I didn't even notice the people laughing in the background at the end of it.
I think they realize. And these A's players that we have that I pay that I'm not sure who their names are.
And Aaron Judge mashing home runs out of the ballpark.
Come watch that for 3 days out of the 81 game home schedule.
How many home runs? We were joking about this with Allen. How is Aaron Judge going to have more or less than like 5 RBIs in the series? I don't even know what pace he's on right now.
Well, he was the RBI leader, but I'd say less.
Yeah, because it's not easy, but if he hits, 2 home runs or 3 home runs, he'll probably eclipse it, but that's
I would like to see him hit a home run. I will say that. As an Aaron Judge and a Yankee fan, I would like to see him hit a home run.
He has 34 RBIs and 34 runs scored this season, batting .400, 12 home runs.
I posted that the other day, and of course you get feedback just because anything you post. I don't post much. Where was this tweet? And I mean, I took the time to do the research, but nobody really cared, and that's okay. I get it. I know where to.
I love a good tweet where you've spent 2 hours researching and 4 likes.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that much time, but I did the 162 because Aaron Judge had just an awful beginning last year. He had a great year, won the MVP, but he was hideous. And then this year he's off to a great start. So I did 4 days ago, over the last 162 games, Aaron Judge is batting .370 with 63 home runs, 159 RBI. That's one of the best stretches of all time. I mean, it really is. And then, of course, people like Bonds. And yes, yeah, I just said one of. It's not the best. It's one of the best. His average is better than Bonds. His RBI total is better. His home run total is not.
Yeah, split over 2 seasons. It's unbelievable.
And, it's to the point where he's a really difficult guy to pitch to. He still strikes out. I mean, he does. That's just a fact. But he is kind of a guy that you want to watch. That I certainly want to watch, and I know that Whitey can't wait to watch Aaron Judge play every day. He was telling me earlier today he is so excited for Aaron Judge. Is he telling you that right now, too?
Well, he actually walked in here, and you were talking about all the stats, and he said he's talking about me, right?
Yes, well, of course.
A historic tear Whitey Gleason is on right now.
Historically great rate, yeah. So that'll be part of the weekend. I just saw, we were telling you, Kyle, on the break, the A's had just tweeted out something about freeway closures. Plan accordingly going to the game tonight or this weekend. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yikes. It's we were talking about earlier your routine for going to the game and mine. I think I'm going to try and ride the bike to the stadium for the first time because they have the bike valet behind the stadium. But
which games are you going to?
Just today.
Oh, I thought you said the second game. No, just today.
I might pay to go on Sunday,
Okay.
but I only have a media credential for today.
Okay. Yeah, they do have bike valet, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah, I just found out about that the other day.
So, and I've seen more and more people now are walking from some version of parking lots from downtown to go across the bridge and get there. It's super easy. I see the lots right there, and I'm sure they're more expensive, but also like after the game, like, you're just kind of stuck in it. I just like getting out and away, and then the drive home is super easy.
Yeah, but the one thing that is awful is that Jefferson exit on 80, because you have people if you go when work is getting off, people are getting off I-5 and going.
Friday.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And yes, the games start a little bit later, so sometimes it's better, but that combination of people going off I-5 and trying to get off at Jefferson to go to the game is just a gridlock for minutes and minutes trying to get on that freeway.
Yeah, it's a bit nasty out there. So tonight also there will be basketball. We've got Cavs and Pacers with a series 2-0. Indiana heading home. Certainly Cleveland has to win game 3. I mean, I just think they have to get back in the series and put a little pressure back on Indiana. I think they're very capable of doing that. Tonight we also have Thunder Nuggets.
Your Dave's favorite Thunder Nuggets.
Thunder Nuggets game 3 in Denver. I don't even know. I'm going to look really fast. This is a game Dave plays. I'll play it with you, Kyle. Have you looked at the point spreads today?
Ooh, guess the spread.
Yeah.
Oh, we have music for that. Hold on.
We do?
Ooh, at least the Allen Stiles Show does.
Okay. I didn't know that's the guess the spread music?
Yeah. It's also the prop top music.
Okay. What is the point spread and who is favored for Cleveland, Indiana tonight? In Indiana.
I will say Cleveland. Well, I guess I should look up the injury report first.
No, look it up.
Nope. Okay.
Off the top of your head.
Cleveland 5.5.
Cleveland is favored, and Cleveland is favored by 5.5.
Wow.
Right on.
Look at me.
Okay, but let's test you for Thunder Nuggets.
Thunder Nuggets, I will say the Thunder by, you know what? Roll the dice again. 5.5. Thunder 5.5.
Well, it's good to know that you did not look. It's the Thunder by 5.5.
No.
You got it both. You didn't look?
Look at me. I did not. I promise you, I did not look.
Okay.
Scout's honor. Was never a Boy Scout.
Well, let's go to Saturday then. Boston and New York in New York. New York leading that series 2 games tonight. Spike Lee will be there. Everyone will be there. Spud Webb will be there.
Timothy Chalamet.
I hope so.
He skipped the Met Gala to watch Game 1.
Now you can watch it in person.
True Knicks fan. I will say Boston is favored 5.5.
5.5?
We gotta try it again.
Okay, well, you got Boston right, and Boston is favored by 5.5.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, I don't see you going 4 for 4, but let's see. Let's try it. Let's push it. Let's go Timberwolves at Warriors on Saturday.
Well, I don't think this one is going to be the Warriors because Steph Curry is obviously out. I'm going to say Timberwolves.
Don't do it.
5.5.
Okay.
Let's see.
It is Timberwolves. You were correct there, and they are favored by 5.5.
Yes.
What is going on? Good work. You got them all. But if you were making picks, pick all 4 really fast for me.
I will go Cavaliers, Celtics, Thunder, and Warriors.
I'm going to go Cavaliers, Celtics, Thunder, Wolves.
Believe in the Timber Pups.
Not highly, but Steph being out is a factor.
Yeah, I think that's probably the easy answer. But how many aren't the home teams like?
Oh, it's terrible in this round.
Yeah, it's like
just OKC, right?
Well,
and Minnesota.
Yeah,
2 wins.
2 and 6.
Yeah. Ugh. Woof.
So maybe I should go Minnesota. I was thinking it'll regress to the mean, but no, I should just keep picking road teams.
All right, we have one final segment ahead for this show, but we've got much more sports talk coming your way throughout the afternoon. The Drive guys are coming up. That is Whitey Gleason and the high flyer, Henry Turner. What? All right, we're going to talk to those guys next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Allen Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Right-handed pitcher JT Ginn, out with that right elbow inflammation, started a throwing program last week, and his expected return is TBD. Zach Geloff, still out with that fractured right hand, began a rehab assignment with AAA Las Vegas last week, leading off at designated hitter and going 0 for 2 with the walk. His expected return is early May. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Allen Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. And visit them at calldowntown.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the biggest selection, the best prices, and unbeatable customer service. Check them out online, sacksuperstore.com, for the guaranteed lowest price on Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Open until 10 o'clock and right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. sacksuperstore.com.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
You made that, didn't you? All the Small Kings?
Just now.
Just now?
Yeah.
Is that a future song in the future? They got a lot of combo guards that aren't.
That's right.
That's right. Small Kings. I like that. Yeah. It just comes to your mind.
Just wait till they re-sign Davion Mitchell.
Yes. I mean, that Davion game in Miami, and everyone's like, oh, how the Kings gave up on him. I'm like, he's averaging like 8 points.
No one was saying that in Toronto.
No.
I wouldn't mind that.
Davion?
Yeah.
Well, 4 years, $40 million?
I'm not. What do you kids say? I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, you kids. Hi, Whitey.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Excited about the Yankees?
I am. I was, you'd be a good historical perspective on this. Like, I mean, I'm not saying Aaron Judge is the greatest athlete ever to come through Sacramento, but he's on like that Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson,
sure.
when like Michael Johnson is a track star in 2000 came through.
I heard you talking about that with Sean Cunningham.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's pretty cool. I mean, I just think that the fact that we've got Major League Baseball for a rarity for however amount of time, and one of the sport's biggest stars is here.
I don't remember the year, but I remember it, early 2000s, I think. San Diego came through for a weekend exhibition series. I think it was right before the season started. And so you had Tony Gwynn and you had Ricky, and actually I think we're on the field. It was an exhibition game, but they did come through here. People were
at
pretty
Rayleigh Field then?
Yes, sir.
So they were playing the River Cats?
Yeah.
Wow.
High flyer.
There's the high flyer. He's coming through. Coming in hot. I don't remember that.
Yeah. I was there. I know what happened.
I figured it was Padres.
Yeah.
You sure you didn't dream it?
I'm sure of it. Yeah.
Gosh, how did I miss seeing Tony Gwynn in person? I had in other games, but that would have been great to see.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Aaron Judge. It's just Ricky. I mean, Tony Gwynn is one thing, but Ricky,
Yeah.
So he
Greatest
was here.
of all time.
Have to put him on the list too. And the high flyer has to go on the list.
Absolutely. He's come through multiple times.
Here you guys go.
He's an A's. You're an A's fan from way back, right, high flyer?
Yes, way back. 72.
Wow.
So what do you think about the well, I can't even say Sacramento A's. That's the other
Sure
thing.
you can.
Okay. What do you think about the West Sacramento A's? Is it weird?
Oh, you touched the nerve.
They're here. We're going to see baseball in town.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's a great thing. You know, for me, I will always be an A's fan, and it always will start in Oakland. But my thing is this. They're here in Sacramento now. Why don't you give the city of Sacramento their love?
They would have. And honestly,
give them their love. I'm sorry. Sacramento needs to be across the front of that jersey.
Oh, absolutely.
And even if they leave in 2, 3, 4 years.
Okay, take it off.
Right. You selling merch. I mean, I think more people would have jumped on board about that if they had said Sacramento A's for as short as that could be.
I mean, I was on board. I'm telling you, I was on board big time until I seen the backdrop. And every backdrop you see, it says Las Vegas on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for me, as living here in Sacramento, you know, being a Sacramento Kings fan, like I said, and even being an Oakland A's fan, I think any sports team that's in that city, if you have another city's logo up, that's a slap in the face to me.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you guys feel. I think for all the focus on the attendance, and I've focused on it and posted about it, I don't think that's the big thing. If there are investors here that get excited about it just by virtue of the fact that they're here, and there's talk, and I'm not saying there is, but if there's talk of, let's get a stadium done, that matters more than there were only 8,000 for the Mariner game.
Right. And I also think that in fairness to the A's, whether they need this or not, but if there's 8,000 in a 10,000 seat stadium, that's actually okay. If you look around, I mean, I watch a lot of baseball. Like the Tigers had a day game the other day, and I don't know if they seat 30, but there was probably 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
But Jason, here's the thing. How are you going to cry about 8 that's in a 10,000 people arena? You're not going to squeeze 11 or 12 in there.
Right. Yeah, they're already going to be low, just like the Rays
Right.
and the Yankee AAA stadium.
And baseball loves being in Florida, and people don't go to the games, but they still love being there.
Yeah.
So
Did you have I know you've been to a couple. Have you enjoyed it?
yeah, it's fun. It's just, it's just a
different.
little, you've been there a lot. Have you been there yet?
No, I haven't been yet.
It's just weird.
Yeah,
but
it's
I like
nice
it.
and it's fun, but it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I've been to Major League Baseball games, and this just isn't it.
Yeah.
It's a very, very nice AAA stadium. So.
And I can't think of another comp. I mean, I guess like if the Kings had games they had to play in Stockton for a week or so. I don't know. I don't know what the comp would be of.
Or like let's say, for example, if they had to play in Reno.
Yeah.
You know, and then how would you feel if the Kings just had to have Reno across the front of the church?
Right. And it's not the same as like Summer League because you know what you're getting at. I mean, that's just a different
it's just Summer League,
atmosphere,
right.
but you know it's Summer League. But these are real games with stats that will count for history, and they can make the playoffs and maybe not even play here.
And then here's another thing, fellas. You don't want to put Sacramento on your jersey, right? So what you're saying, none of the stats here count?
Yeah,
they all do.
That's one of the reasons I think attendance has been down. It'll
That's
probably
right.
pick up. But if you're telling Sacramento, we don't really want to be your team, fans are going, okay, good.
Right.
I'm going to stay home.
Right.
then."
But what I'm saying, though, all the stats that are accumulated here, you mean to tell me they don't count?
Yeah. And just the overall fan base, too, for A's fans from the last 5 years in Oakland. I mean, they've just been kicked.
Yeah.
Right. So that's been tough.
Yeah. It's also interesting, real quick, about the park. It's a minor league park, but I read something yesterday in The Athletic. there are a lot more home runs hit at night here and it's also happening at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa because you don't have the whole stadium. You don't have the double deck, second deck, and the wind has more of an impact because it's a smaller, not just small like home plate to the field, to the fence, but smaller structure. The wind comes into play more, and at night the ball flies out of there. So Aaron Judge is probably right now just salivating.
He's only got one night game just tonight.
Now, let me
Two day games.
Let me ask you guys this: now, are they building a new baseball stadium in Miami?
I don't know
or for the Rays they are, right?
Yeah, they were gonna, and then I think they ran into some funding snags. So I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, because see, I was just there over the weekend, and I'm like, whoa, they're building a new stadium. I looked at it, I'm like, this has to be a baseball stadium.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks like the beginning of something special.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What do you guys got coming up today?
Oh, Henry, I'm just jumping and hopping on the big fella's back.
Yeah, that's what I do for every pre and post game.
Is that why my back been hurting?
Carried me for all those years.
Jerry Reynolds is mentioned. Jerry Reynolds going to be on with us today.
One of my favorites.
Yes.
One of my favorites.
And Scott Howard Cooper.
Scoopaloo.
From way back in
Nice.
Sacramento basketball history.
Well, yeah, you going back now.
Yeah.
I mean, we were right there at 88, 89, right?
Yeah, I think maybe so.
Well, the Kings are kind of going into the throwback machine. You know, these guys coming back. Doug Christie, officially the coach. This is his birthday today, too, by the way.
Happy birthday, too, Doug.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Doug.
What do you think his birthday wish would be?
Probably to get that back because I think it's his.
No, that's Carmichael Dave's.
Oh, someone told me it was.
No, Dave.
PC's.
The
I
putting green?
apologize. Yeah.
No, Dave's got ideas for he wants a golf simulator in here, video games. I'm like, okay.
Dave, you're not at home, bro.
Exactly.
You're at work, okay?
It's tough enough getting him
So
in
those
here.
aren't DC's clubs because I actually told him once, hey, I think we have your wedge.
I don't think so.
All right.
But he utilized it a lot. I saw him in here chipping a lot and putting a
Well,
lot.
I tell you what, he's got a brand new contract. I'm pretty sure he got
Doing
some
all right,
new
huh?
clubs.
Probably does. Huh?
Yeah.
No, worried about his backup pitching wedge. Where is that?
He's probably worried about his point guard. You guys got point guard ideas for the Kings next year?
I'm sure it'll come up today.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of real quick? Cole Anthony came up yesterday.
Yeah.
I like him. I don't know if he'd be the answer here. He did nice player, but I don't know if he'd be like, all right, got your point guard.
Yeah. I like if they go in on some of the names that are like out there, like John Moran or Trey, like you're kind of going in and you're kind of reshaping your team. One I mentioned earlier with Kyle was Ty Jerome. I like him. I think he could be in a spot where he's been the backup in Warriors and in Cleveland, and then now he's starting while Garland's out, and he's been really good.
He's probably going to get more than the Kings can offer.
That might be the case.
Yeah, but I love him.
My question with the whole point guard thing for the Sacramento Kings, and believe me, I have no problem with them searching for another point guard. But my question is, because this is almost like number one on the roster moves for the players. But what signal is that sending to Malik?
Right. To all those combo guards, Malik, Keon, Carter, even Levine in a sense.
Really?
Spud Webb.
No. Really Malik Monk. Yeah. Because this is the guy that you gave the starting point guard job to.
Yeah.
Even when De'Aaron was here, you gave it to Malik. Malik did a great job. He got hurt, started falling off a little bit, but what type of signal does that send to that guy? You just re-upped him, gave him a nice contract, and now you're saying, we need a starting guard.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Keon. Do you think he's lucky? Do you guys feel like he's a lucky? There's lucky vibes around him.
I think it's a lot of value around Keon.
All right.
For what Keon done for us was great. You know, the year before, everybody was like, Keon who? Well, Keon has a name, and he has a very good name right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody's got lucky vibes, send them to the lottery.
That's Keon. Right? Keon's our representative.
Yeah.
Hey,
so hopefully.
Keon has a lot of upside right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he really holds the keys.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about taking control of your own destiny. That young man has done that.
Yeah. That's a victory for the Kings. Drafting a guy, having him mature from the second round to a G League to a contract to a starting role. I mean, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean,
that's awesome.
And you love seeing that.
Yeah.
Keon is one of those guys that you will always love to root for because nothing was given to him.
Yeah.
He had to go out and earn every last bit of it.
Yeah. Carve out his niche, his on his own.
That's right.
Yeah.
What happens if the Kings win the lot or get in the top four? The odds are so low, but that's Monday. That'd be amazing.
Top four, 3.8.
Yeah, total odds are 3.8.
Kyle Draper says they're in.
Oh, does Kyle
He
know?
keeps saying,
Maybe someone always knows
"Not my
something.
fee."
Maybe
Yeah.
Kyle knows.
Well,
He says they got it.
KD he needs to send his guy.
Yeah, he's got a guy.
Yeah,
You know
always
he's got a guy.
Right. He needs to send his guy.
My guy. Would that be cruel if they got fourth though? Like if they get to the top,
that'd be great.
It would be great.
Yeah.
You know
3,
what?
2.
Anywhere where you feel like you can
want
get
something.
a better player.
Yeah.
And and let's say, for example, if they do get 4, do you get a point guard or do you take the best player at any position?
Best player
for sure.
I've always been in that boat too.
You have options if you do that. If not, it's likely 13. And
the team is not good enough to say, okay, we just got to get that.
Yeah, they're not a piece away.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you got a big show coming up.
Huge.
Nice.
Yes.
Massive.
The Henry Turner Show. Kevin Gleason may appear.
You better believe it.
Gonna race the cars at all during the show? Did you bring your car today?
No. The car is still packed up, man, from Miami. So
I was going to ask him to do that, actually.
I
mentioned that.
I have
He
it
raced
unpacked.
it out at Madison. I was like, I'm going to watch Henry race this little car. I thought, I'm like, oh my gosh. I was blown away how fast that thing was.
That's my hobby, man, my passion.
Well, you're good at it, though. You
know
got
what?
sponsors and everything.
Hey, I can't get over the rim no more, so all I can do is pull the trigger.
You could dunk. You could dunk.
I still could. I mean, it'll take a minute, but I can get there.
I never could.
I think you could. All right. Whitey and the High Flyer coming up. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Sean Cunningham. Allen Stiles will be back on Monday. I'll be back with Dave on Monday morning as well. Have a great weekend. The Drive Guys coming your way next.
Don't forget my podcast.
Gotta go. Online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day.